would like to announce, in case of an emergency,
aho dushobora kunyura
the procedures and exits we need to take
kugira ngo tube twabasha kurokora ubuzima.
so that we can save our lives.
Hari imiryango ibiri yo gusohokeramo.
There's 2 different doors to exit from.
Swate mwasohokera hariya cyangwa se mugasohokera hano.
You can go through that door or this one.
Kandi iyo bigenze gutyo mureba b'intege nke akaba aribo twihutisha gusohokana.
When that comes, you see people that are unstable or have a disability, you help them first.
Kandi wabona ntubishoboye ukamusiga ugarokora ubuzima bwawe.
In case you cannot help them and help them yourself as well, first run
tutaza kubura benshi
so
in case.
So that we don't lose real lives, just in case.
Ikindi tumaze kugera hanze ahantu tugomba gutegerereza ni muri uyu mukono hepfo hanze muri parking.
Once we get outside, there's an area where we're meant to meet near the parking.
Byaba ngombwa ko tugaruka tukongera kandi tukinjira tunyuza aho twinjire dusohoka.
If we have to come back, we just come back through the same doors that we went out.
Ikindi kandi kubashaka gukoresha iherero.
People that require bathrooms,
basohoka muri muryango haruguru.
You exit through the upper door.
Utambika iburyo bwawe.
And go on your right.
Urabona umwanya w'abagabo n'uw'abamama.
And you'll see the signs for the ladies and gents.
Mukoreshe uko nyine byabigenewe.
Just use them as signed.
Ibi mvuze ntibisobanura ngo biraza kuba.
What I say doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Yes, yaranyibukije ngo muramutse musohotse munyura mu kuboko kw'ibumoso.
He was just reminding me that if we do that, we go through the left.
Ibi mvuze ntibisobanura ngo biraza kuba ngo umuriro uraba.
What I say doesn't mean that there's a fire that's going to happen.
Bino baravuga ngo in case.
People from here say just in case.
Kugira ngo twitegure.
So that we can prepare ourselves.
Bitaza wenda n'igihe byabaye.
So that in case it happens.
Sibwo utangira kubaza ngo ndaca he.
That's not when you ask where am I meant to go through.
Kwizera ko cyumvikanye.
I think we've all got that.
Murakoze kandi gutegera.
Thank you so much for listening.
Rero gahunda yacu iri hafi gutangira.
Our program is about to begin.
Twasaba abari ku byuma kudushiriramo indirimbo.
Would ask the people on the media to put a song for us.
Yeah, reflection cyangwa se
just like as a background.
Kugira ngo dukomeze dutekereze kubikorwa.
So that we can think and ponder on the program. We're going to tell you the next. Thank you.
It's
Reka komeze dusaba abantu cyare mwituze.
Let's continue to ask people to sit quietly.
Bityo n'abahagaze nabo komeze batambuka bicara.
And those that are standing to step forward and take a seat.
Kuko tugiye kugera mu wundi mwanya gukora ibindi bikorwa bisaba kuba dutuje kandi dutegera.
Because we're about to be in a moment where we're required to stay quiet and listen.
Twavuze ko tuza gukorera ku gihe.
We say that we're going to work on schedule.
Kandi nta mwanya wacu uri buze gupfa ubusa.
And we're not going to lose any time.
Twavuze ko abahageze ku gihe.
We say that people that got here on time
bagomba no gusoreza ku gihe.
Have to finish on time as well.
Twateganyije.
That we've prepared.
So uyu mwanya tugezemo.
So this moment that we're getting in.
Tugiye gusoma acknowledgement.
We're going to read the acknowledgement of the country.
Turasaba buri wese kubahiriza.
We're going to ask everyone to respect.
Ndetse no gutegera amagambo arimo.
And to listen to the words.
Tari ugutegera gusa.
Not just listening.
Ariko harimo no kubyubahiriza.
And respecting as well.
I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land of which we gather today and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander. People here today. That's the acknowledgement today. Iryo ni ijambo rya acknowledgement cyangwa se ryo guha agaciro igihugu cyatwakiriye.
That's an acknowledgement of the country that has openly welcomed us.
Iri mu itegeko ryo guha agaciro ba nyiri igihugu.
It's in the laws of paying respect to the owners of the land.
N'abazungu twita abazungu iri bararisoma baha agaciro ba nyiri butaka.
And other people that reside in Australia pay their respect to the owners of the land.
Urumva ko kugira ubutaka no kugira igihugu ari byiza, natwe tugomba kuzagira igihe tugomba ku acknowledgingwa cyangwa se ku acknowledging wacu.
So having land and having a country is important. So paying respect, and hopefully there's a time that we'll also have our land.
Murakoze kubitegera.
Thank you so much for listening.
kwinjira mu wundi mwanya mwiza.
Going to get in another beautiful moment.
Mbere yuko dutangira gahunda iyo ariyo yose,
Before we start any program,
umuco wacu,
in our culture,
aho twavukiye,
where we were born,
aho twakuriye,
where we grew up,
uko twarezwe,
how we were raised,
uko twatojwe,
how we were trained,
dutangira n'isengesho
we start with prayer
kugira ngo twiragize Imana
so that we may ask God
mu byo dukora byose,
to be with us in everything we
kugira
do,
ngo ize kubana natwe.
for Him to be with us.
Rero turaza kumva umushumba wateguwe kugira ngo adufashe mu isengesho ry'uyu munsi.
We're going to hear from the pastor that has been prepared to help us in this moment.
Baze kumuha microphone adusengere.
Please hand them the microphone so that we can hear from them.
Murashobora guca bugufi mugahaguruka tugasenga Imana. Mana yacu mu izina rya Yesu Kristo, abangana batya twebwe twese turi aha ngaha muri uyu mwanya ukomeye, muri uyu mwanya ugoye wo kwibuka inshuti, wo kwibuka abavandimwe, wo kwibuka ubwoko bwacu bw'Abanyamulenge bwishwe buzira uko bwaremwe. Imitima yacu iri mu gahinda, ariko turasaba imbaraga zawe kugira ngo zibashe gushoboza ubugingo bwacu n'imitima yacu muri uyu mwanya. Ihumure ryawe ribashe kubana natwe. Ubundi Data, ni wowe murengezi wacu, ni na wowe muvugizi wacu. Aho tudashika, ibyo tudashoboye, urabishoboye nk'Imana. Uri Imana inyuranye ibihe n'ibindi. Uri Imana ivuga bikaba, yategeka bigakomera. Ijambo ryawe ni rizima. Wumvikanishe akababaro k'Abanyamulenge, wumvikanishe akababaro kacu, kandi ukomeze ubane natwe muri uyu mwanya turimo. Abayobora gahunda bose n'abafata amagambo bashobozwe nawe, babikore mu bushake bwawe, ibyo ushaka bibe mu isi kuko biba no mu ijuru. Ni mu izina rya Yesu dusenze dushimye, amen.
Amen. Arakoze umushumba.
Thank you, Pastor.
Tugiye kwakira umuyobozi wa state ya twakiriye cyangwa se yakiriye kino gikorwa.
We're going to welcome the leader of the state that has welcomed us,
kugira ngo atambuke imbere,
for him to come up here
aze kudufasha kwakira abashitsi,
to help us welcome the guests.
baza gukurikiza izindi gahunda.
We'll let you know about the next program.
Yeah, thank you very much. Reka tuanze tutange pole
Would like to give our condolences first
ya Abanyamulenge bose ndetse n'abacikacumu.
to all the survivors in the Abanyamulenge.
Ya mwihangane kandi mukomere cyane muri ibi bihe bitoroshye.
We give you our condolences and may you stay strong in these hard moments.
Ya kadufata umwanya twakire abantu baje kwifatanya natwe kuri uyu munsi.
Would like to take our moment to welcome everyone that has been able to make it to be with us today.
Ya mbere na mbere ndabanza nakire aka karere kacu ka Victoria.
First and foremost, I would like to welcome people from Victoria or people from the area.
Ya Wodonga,
Wodonga,
Miridura,
Mildura,
and Melbourne.
and Melbourne,
Ariyo yakiriye uyu muhango uyu munsi.
which is the one that is hosting this event today.
Muzukuri mwagize neza kuza kwifatanya natwe.
Truly, you've done well to come and be with us today.
Nakira na state leaders
And while I also welcome the state leaders
ndetse n'abayobozi bayoboye utwo turere ko ari dutatu.
and people that are also leaders of those 3 sub-states that I've said.
Nyuma twiriseho twakira umuryango wacu wa BCCA
Next, we'll welcome a family of the BCCA,
Abanyamulenge Congolese Community Australia.
Abanyamulenge Community Congolese of Australia.
Dufite inzego zitandukanye
We have different leaders
bagize uyu muryango cyangwa se batuyoboye.
that are part of this leadership or that are leading us.
Dufite umuyobozi wacu yahaguruka Zawadi.
We have a leader.
Tukagira vice president nawe yahaguruka nawe tukamwegereza.
We have the vice president.
Ndetse n'abandi bakorana muri izo nzego.
And other people that work with them.
Dufite urwego rwa board.
We have the people from the board.
Ndabona Shaka yabasha kuhagera.
I've seen some of them that are here.
Nabo mwagize neza kuza kwifatanya natwe.
You've done well to come and be with us today.
Ngiye kwakira izindi community zaje kwifatanya natwe.
We also welcome people from other communities that made it to be with us.
Dufite community y'Abanyarwanda.
We have people from the Rwandese community.
Olivier namubonye.
I've seen some already.
Yahaguruka wenda tukamubona.
Please stand up so that everyone might see you.
Mbo sinzi wenda nimba ari abandi bazanye.
I don't know if you've traveled with anyone else.
Ndabona Ntaganda.
I've seen our brother.
Mwese mwagize neza kuza kwifatanya natwe.
You've all done well to come and be with us.
Dushimira n'abandi tekereza wenda sinzi izindi community zaba zaje kwifatanya natwe kuri uyu munsi.
If there's anyone that I've not specifically mentioned but you're here to be with us.
Community y'Abarundi sinzi nimba.
People from the Burundi community.
Bo wenda turaza kongera kubabwira izindi gahunda zikurikiye y'abashyitsi bacu bari buze kugera ngaha.
We are going to let you know of the next program when our visitors get here.
Nyuma wenda ndangirizaho dufite umushyitsi wacu special guest.
While I conclude, we have a special guest.
Jean-Paul Shaka.
Jean-Paul Shaka.
Yahaguruka kugira ngo tumwegereze.
Please stand up.
Wagize neza cyane kuza kwifatanya natwe.
You've done well to be with us today.
Urakoze cyane wakwicara.
Thank you so much. You may be seated.
Urakoze cyane.
Thank you so much.
Abanyarwanda, community y'Abanyarwanda bavuye Sydney.
We have people from the Rwandese community.
Bahaguruka kugira ngo
Please stand up so that we can welcome you.
Arakoze cyane.
Thank you so much.
Bagize neza kuko barabyifuje twagiye
You've
tuvugana ku
done well
matelefone.
for the heart that you've had so that you can be with us today.
Bo turaza kubagezaho izindi gahunda abandi bashyitsi
We'll let you know of the next program when our guest gets here.
Murakoze cyane.
Thank you so much.
Arakoze cyane umuyobozi wa state ya Victoria.
Thank you so much to the state leader of Victoria.
Tuza kwibutsa abantu kandi iyi remark cyangwa se
While we remind people,
ntabwo dukoma amashyi mu kiriyo.
we're not going to clap our hands.
Hano turi mu kiriyo.
We're in a funeral.
Hano turimo kwibuka.
We're remembering, we're commemorating.
Gutegera.
It's just listening
Gatekereza.
and think and ponder
Kamedita ku birimo kuvugwa.
and meditate on what is being spoken.
Nta mashyi akomwa.
There's no clapping hands.
Icyo kiratambutse.
That has passed. Thank you so much.
Turiyegereza team y'aba barokotse.
We welcome the team of survivors.
Dufite abantu barokotse ku icumu ryo mu Gatumba.
We have people that survived from
Ari nabo
Gatumba.
cyane cyane twaje gufata mu mugongo.
While it's them we're here to be with.
Nubwo twese byatugezeho.
Well, it has happened on all of us as we're together as the Abanyamulenge community.
Umwihariko bo babashije kurokoka
But specifically, there were survivors.
Turabakiriye.
We welcome you.
Kandi turabihanganishije.
And we give you our condolences. May you stay strong.
Turi kumwe.
We're together. And that is why we're here to give you our condolences. While we also find the medicine for it not happening again. We're in the time of welcoming people that are going, people that witnessed it happening. Would ask you to listen. And also be in one line. So also ask people to stay still so that you can listen to that. People that survived from Ibogobogo, they're going to come first. If they're here already, you're going to come up front so that you can they're close by. These circumstances happen, but they will be here soon. While in that moment, people that are in the media to play a song for us again so that we can wait for them to get here. And while the people that are standing to be seated.
Wazimye umunyamulenge kwikarita ya Kongo yibagiza wa mugani uvuga umwanza gucira ko imana gucira kanzuye hai tura nawe warahumiwe imiana yawe namakanisa yawe yahawe inkongi abavyeyi bikorezwa amaboko ito twifuza mana yacu urahoza imitima yacu
barakoze abari ku buhanga bw'ivyuma.
Thank you to the people on the media.
Babonye undi mushitsi wahageze.
We've seen another guest that got here.
Twamusaba kugira ngo ahaguruke.
Would like to ask them to stand up.
Pepe abantu uri ni mayor.
And wave to the people, he's the mayor.
Mu mujyi wa Melton.
In Melton.
Turamwakiriye.
We welcome you.
Mwanya we nugera turaza kumuha ijambo ryiwe.
We'll give you a word when it's your time.
So dufite mutangabuhamya warokose ku icumu rya Lubumbashi.
We're going to hear from someone's account, a survivor from Lubumbashi.
Yego, Abanyamulenge bagiye bicirwa ahantu henshi hatandukanye.
The Abanyamulenge people were killed from different places.
Rero tugiye kumva warokose ku icumu rya Lubumbashi.
We're going to hear someone's account from Lubumbashi.
Araza gutambuka.
He's going to come here.
Kugira ngo atugezeho ubuhamya bwiwe.
So that we can hear testimony from him.
Kandi tumutegere.
Let's give him our ears.
Kugira ngo twumve ubwo bwicanyi.
So that we can hear his testimony about the killings.
Tuzabashe kwamagana ibyo bikorwa by'amfurambi.
so that we can ask for justice.
Mika araza gutambuka.
We're going to hear from Mika.
turabashuhuje mwese.
We greet you all.
Abatatuzi amazina nitwa Mika Migambi.
People that don't know me, my name is Mika Migambi.
Ntuye mu New South Wales.
I live in New South Wales.
Mu gisagara ca Sydney.
In Sydney.
Uwo ni jewe.
That's me.
Mbere yo dutangira reka tubanze dushime.
Before we start, would like to give our thanksgivings
Reka dushimire abayobozi bacu.
For our leaders
bayobowe na Zawadi.
That are being led by the president,
Kuri kino
Zawadi.
gikorwa bashoboye gutegura ciza.
In this beautiful moment, program they have prepared.
Reka dushimire n'abashitsi bose bari ahangaha.
Would also like to pass our thanksgivings to the guests that are here today.
Abahano mu gihugu ca Australia.
People in this country, Australia.
Ndetse n'umushitsi wacu uvuye i Goma.
And our guest as well from Goma.
Turabashimiye mwese.
We thank you all.
Ko baratwita ngo n'abacikacumu.
They're calling us survivors.
Cyavuze ngo aba victim.
Or victims.
Igitekerezo canje.
My idea.
Nzatekereza ngo sindi umucikacumu kubera kuko nari Rumbashi wa munsi.
I don't think I'm a survivor because I was in Lubumbashi that day.
Kibuza ba Gatumba saba survivor kuko bari Gatumba rya joro.
People that survived from Gatumba are not survivors because they were in Gatumba that night.
Ahubwo nuko gusa bari mu itsinda rihaye ryishwa.
But because they were among the people that are being killed.
Rero dutangiye gutekereza muri ubwo buryo.
If we start to think from that perspective,
habe n'uwari kure nawe yakwitwa umucikacumu.
Even someone that was very far from there will call themselves a survivor.
Kuko nta kindi bariko bazira.
Because there's nothing else they were being killed for.
Nuko gusa bariko bavuga ngo n'abatutsi.
It's because they were being called Tutsi.
Reka rero tugendere Lubumbashi.
Let's go to Lubumbashi.
Ese niki cyabaye kugira ngo habe ubwicanyi?
What happened for there to be killings?
Niki cyatumye abantu bagwa i Lubumbashi ku bwinshi?
Why were people killed at large in Lubumbashi?
Habaye imbarutso zibiri.
There were 3 triggers.
Iya mbere yabaye ku minsi ibiri mu kwezi k'umunani.
The first trigger was on the 2nd of August.
Aho ni 98.
That was in 98.
Icyabaye nibwo intambara yabyutse Goma.
What happened was there was a war in Goma.
Yari yo gukuraho Perezida Kabila wari uhari ubwo ngubwo.
That was trying to get rid of the then president.
Ariko igitangaza nuko yabaye ku minsi ibiri.
It happened on the 2nd.
Ku minsi 3 abantu batangira kwicwa i Lubumbashi.
And the 3rd day people were being killed.
Kuko u Rwanda ni rwo rwarafashije Kabila gufata ubutegetsi.
The soldiers from Rwanda.
Kandi igihugu gushigikira rebellion ibisanzwe.
A country that was supporting people that were rebellious.
Ikindi nshobora kuvuga aho ngaho burya iyo bene wacu bakongomande bavuga ngo u Rwanda.
When our fellow Congolese say Rwanda,
ntibaba bahaye bavuga u Rwanda.
They don't speak Rwanda. They're not speaking of the country Rwanda.
Baba bavuga abatutsi.
They're speaking of the Tutsi.
Niyo mpamvu intambara yatangiye hariya.
That's why the war that started there.
Batangira kwica abatutsi i Lubumbashi.
They started to kill the Tutsi that were residing there.
Iyo yabaye imbarutso ya mbere.
That was the first trigger.
Naho rero iya kabiri yabaye ku minsi 5.
The second trigger was on the 5th.
Icyabaye ku minsi 5.
What happened on the 5th?
Bese abasirikare bacu batangiye kuvangurwa.
There was.
Bese abasirikare bacu b'abatutsi.
So the soldiers from the Tutsi,
batangiye nyine kubavangura bavuga kuko aribo bateje intambara.
they started to pick on them and saying that the ones that started the war.
Batangira kubita abagambanyi,
They started to call them betrayers and traitors,
abantu badakunda igihugu.
people that don't love the country.
Ubwo rero abasirikare bahise baje inama yo kubambura intwaro.
So they made a meeting to take their weapons from them,
Rero kandi barabikoze.
and they didn't.
Abasigaye bakeya rero
So the remaining few,
ko nagerageza kuvuga cyane,
I'm trying to make things quick.
barikusanyije barahunga
So-
binjira muri Zambia.
The remaining fled and went into Zambia.
Ubwo rero bamaze guhunga
After they fled,
bararasa,
they started shooting each other,
hari n'abapfuye.
and some died.
Ubwo rero gusohoka kwabo
So they're getting out or they're escaping.
ibaye indi mbogamizi ngo abasirikare bahunze basiga bisha abantu.
It was another circumstance or another consequence that was like the soldiers have fled after killing people,
Ariko bagiye bahunga kuko bariko baje kubambura intwaro.
but they were escaping because they were taking weapons from them or even shooting and killing them.
Iyo rero nayo ibaye indi mpamvu.
That was another reason.
Noneho batangira kwica abantu ku mugaragaro.
They started killing people.
Ndibuka iyo nzu bahungiyemo,
The house that they fled to,
bariko batubwira abantu n'ubwoko bwacu ngo babasange hanyuma barebe uko babahungisha.
they were trying to get as many people from our tribe so that they can escape with them.
Je ndibuka ubwo ndari mbana na mukuru wanje yari umusirikare,
I remember I used to live with my brother. He was a soldier as well.
yari afite umuryango,
He had a family.
yari afite abana barindwi.
He had 7 kids.
Noneho turavuga ngo se twe dukora iki nka famiye.
We made a family meeting and were trying to see what we can do.
Je mbwira mukuru wanje ngo tugende kuri iyo nzu yarimo abasirikare bari bashaka kugenda kugira ngo tujane Zambia.
I told my brother, what if we go to the house that has people that are trying to escape into Zambia?
Aranga ati mfite abana batoya tujane n'abasirikare.
He said, no, I've got little kids that cannot travel with.
Je ndamubwira
Soldiers.
ngo singende gupfana n'abantu ubwo nje nkeneye kujana n'abasirikare.
I said, I do not want to die with the kids. I want to go with the soldiers.
Rero turatandukana je ndagenda.
So I separated with my brother. I left with the people that were about to flee to Zambia.
Mpamagara umushuti wanje twakoranaga.
I called my close friend that we used to be with.
Noneho ngo dushike dusanga abasirikare ni benshi cyane bagusa iyo nzu nta.
So we found, when we got there, there was soldiers surrounding the house. It was lots of them.
Nta buryo twinjiragamo.
There's no way they would let us get in.
Noneho nsubiye mu rugo.
So I went back home.
Ngo nshike mu rugo nsanga iyo famiye nawe yafashwe izungurutswe n'abasirikare.
When I got home, I found soldiers surrounding my brother's house.
Ubwo rero inzira yo kugenda Zambia irabuze.
So there was nowhere to go to Zambia.
Nsanga n'umuryango naho byanze.
And my family as well, I found them surrounded too.
Icyakurikira nese njanda nyine umushuti wanje tugenda mu nzu mu wiwe.
What followed is I followed my friend to his house.
Rero inzira nyine y'umusaraba iratangiye. Ese zago nyine biratangiye nibyo
So that's when problems arose.
Ubwo rero abo basirikare bamaze gusohoka.
After the soldiers left,
Ubwo nyine bahise bavuga kuko bagomba kwica ubwoko bw'abatutsi.
that's when it was decided for the Tutsi people to be killed.
Kandi nimba munyemereye nimureke ndeko kureje izina ry'Abanyamulenge nkoresha ry'abatutsi kuko bariko bishwa bose.
If you'd agree with me, I would like to use the word Tutsi instead of Abanyamulenge.
Kuko ndabo twafunzwe twari kumwe n'Abanyarwanda.
Because where we were arrested were with Rwandese as well.
Twari kumwe n'Abarundi.
We were with Burundians,
Ariko bose nyine bitwa ngo n'abatutsi.
but they were all from the Tutsi.
Urumva ntabwo cyari ikibazo cyacu gusa.
It was not only our problem.
Ubwo nyine rero aho twari tugeze nyine mu kwezi k'umunani gutangiye ku minsi 5-6.
From that 5 of August,
Uko kwezi kwawe kubwicanye.
that month was all for killings.
Gusa Irumbashi ni city nziza cyane nimwe abantu bize b'abasirimu.
But that city was a good city. It had people that had experience and knowledge.
Twe ntabwo bishe nko mu Gatumba.
They were not killings like there was in Gatumba.
Batwishe nyine nk'abasirimu.
They killed us like in a civilized way.
Bafataga abantu kubajana mu prison.
They would take people into prison
Bakabica mu ijoro mu prison.
and they would kill them at night in prisons.
Ntabwo bari byo kwica abantu ngo batwike usange imirambo
It was not in like Gatumba, where people were killed and it was burnt down.
abantu bafatwaga neza bakabajana
People were being taken carefully first into prisons and then they were killed later.
no kuko tudafite umwanya munini
Because we don't have a lot of time,
reka twihute cyane
let's try and go faster.
ubwo rero zagiye kuba mu kwezi kugiye kurangira k'umunani
So towards the end of August,
noneho amahanga amenya amakuru kuko hariho ubwicanyi
the news started to spread that there are killings.
dore ko bakunda kumenya amakuru bakereje
People, like other people know the news when it's late.
none batangira gushira pressure nyine kuri guverinoma
They started to put pressure on the government.
none guverinoma itangira gufata abantu bose
The government started to take in people
ibashira ahantu hamwe
and put them in one place
kugira ngo nimba haje investigation
so that when there happens to be an
babone
investigation,
nyine ko bazereka toya abantu dore bararinze
so that they would see the people are there.
ndetse irumba sho bari bake cyane bizaba ngombwa ko genda kwafata mu zindi
And
ntara
also in Lubumbashi, there was fewer people. Sometimes they used to go and get them from other places,
zari kasi kamena kasumbale sauna ahantu hatandukanye
other different places.
iyo nzira rero singivugaho ni ndende habayeho kugira aho twagize umwaka wose
I'm not going to speak in detail, but it went on for about a year.
kuko twabaye umwaka nyuma tuza gusohoka
We were there for a year and then we went out.
iyo ngo reka tuyireke
We're going to not touch on that.
ariko reka mbereke nk'ubwicanyi bwabereye aho ngaho mu minsi mikeya
But I would like to show you on the killings that happened there for a few days.
turangiriza kuko umwanya se munini cyane
We will then conclude there because we don't have lots of time.
ijambo rya mbere nibuka ritaramva mu mutwe
The word that I've always remembered since then,
ni ukwica abasivile
it's killing civilians.
ntabwo ndi umunyamategeko
I'm not a lawyer,
ariko baza batubwira ngo abasivile bararindwa igihe cy'intambara
but we're told that civilians are protected during a time of the war.
ariko twe twabonye abasivile bishwe
But we were seeing civilians being killed.
hariho inzu imwe bafungiyemo abantu benshi
There was one house that they locked lots of people in,
noneho abantu babura umwuka
and
oxygen,
people couldn't breathe because of congestion,
kuko bari benshi cyane
because there were lots of them.
abantu bakubita imiryango bavuza induru
People were banging on the door and screaming.
abasirikare baradatse n'iki cyabaye
The soldiers would come and ask what's happening.
barababwira bati dore ko baraha umwuka wabuze
They would tell them that people cannot breathe because there's lots of us in here.
bati sawa turakemura iki kibazo kiroroshe
And they would say, we're going to fix the problem.
bakuyemo abantu 26
They took out 26 people,
abandi baba nyine nk'abahumeka
and there was a little space to breathe for the
ariko
others.
ngo cyo barya abantu 26
But the following day, the 26 people that were taken out,
barabajana mu ishamba
they took them in the forest.
ku mwobo wari wacukuwe
There was a deep hole that had been dug out.
barabarasa bose barabica
They killed all of them.
ese ayo makuru tuyazi gute
How do we know that news?
hari umwe barokotse
There's one that survived.
n'ubu tuvugana arahari
I still talk to them till this moment.
yaje kudusanga aho ngaho nawe
He came back to where we were
atubwira amakuru y'ibyabaye
and he told us what happened.
iyi senariyo mwitekerejeho
If you think about this,
iratangaje
it's a miracle.
kuvuga ngo abantu ko barahwera
To say that people are fainting,
ariko bakabona ngo uburyo bwiza bwo gukemura ikibazo
but they would say the only problem to fix
ni
it
ugufata abantu bakeya bakicwa
is taking a few of them and killing them.
iyo ni leta
That's the government.
bakumva aribwo bwiza bwo gukemura icyo
They
kibazo
thought that is a way to fix the problem.
irindi jambo rya kabiri
Another second thing,
ko ndihuta cyane
I'm trying to go really quick.
habaye yo kwicisha abantu inzara
Oh, there was starvation.
mu rurimi rwacu ni iryo jambo nko kwicisha abantu inzara
If I say starvation,
zenda ntibyumvikana nk'uko ushaka kubivuga
it's not as clear as I want it to be.
twe hari abantu hano b'imfura kugeza uyu munsi
There are good people up to this time.
iyo ngo abagore bagiye ku kazi
When women went to work,
umugabo ngo ntadashobora kwigirira ibiryo wenyine
a man is not able to prepare food on their own.
none akarinda ngo umugore naza amuheza ibiryo
They would wait for the women to come back and prepare
none
food for
umugabo
them.
akavuga ngo uyu mugore ngo azomyicisha inzara
And they would say that this woman is going to kill me of hunger.
iri jambo ry'ikinyamurenge nuritekereza neza harimo ijambo gupfa harimo verbe gupfa
If you think about this Congolese word, kill in the word.
aranyicisha inzara.
He's going to kill me of hunger.
Harimo ijambo gupfa.
There's a word kill.
Kibuze verbe gupfa.
There's a verb kill.
Ariko uyu mugabo ntabagiye gupfa.
But this man is not going to die.
Niyo umugore yogira shift zitatu ntabwo yapfa.
Even if the wife has 5 shifts, he's not going to
Gusa
die.
icabaye yashonje.
But what is happening is because he's hungry.
Rero nimvuga nko kwishyira abantu inzara ntimubifate muri iyo context.
If I say starvation, do not take it in that context.
Twe no kugira umunsi wa mbere. Kugira umunsi wa mbere utarya.
It's going for a day without eating.
Agera ku minsi ne ku minsi 5.
And up to 4 or 5 days,
Umuntu akicara hasi akava mu mwuka.
you sit down and you die.
Twabonye abantu bava mu mwuka bicwa n'inzara.
We saw people that died because of starvation.
Izo byarabaye.
That happened.
Ikindi numva cyaze kumva mu mutwe.
Another thing that I remember clearly up to now,
Ico gihe nabwiye nari nahunze famiye ntazi aho iri.
that time that I fled without knowing where my family was,
Twahamagaye umusoda umwe twari tuzi
we called one soldier that we were familiar with
kugira ngo aje kudufasha mbese kudushakira kuko twe ntabwo twagendaga.
so that he can go and seek for us.
Ariko araza aje kutureba tugira ati nimuze tujane.
So when he came to see us, he told us to go with him,
Turemera sinzi uko byari bimeze.
and we agreed to go with him.
Turagenda dushikana hamwe kuri prison.
We followed him up to a prison.
Aparika imodoka
He parked his car.
aragenda yasigarana n'uyu nguyu twari kumwe mu nzu.
He went inside and I stayed outside with my friend.
Ubwo indi modoka iraza iya pick up.
Another pickup car stopped by,
Izi hano bita youth.
the ones that we call youth.
Irangaye gutya hejuru.
It was an open youth.
Yaruzemo abasirikare
It was full of soldiers.
barafungura nyine umuryango uratibuka.
They opened the door.
Kurya umuryango utibutse
When the door opened,
abantu batangira gutibukana nawe.
people started falling out of the
Twari
car
mu modoka kuko tubabona.
when we were seeing them.
None abari nko kumwisho bayo bo ntibatibuka nyine kuko bari ku.
People that were towards the end did not fall because they were kind of sitting stable.
Abasirikare barazamuka kandi hejuru
The soldiers went on top
barabamanura barabatibura bose.
and they started putting the people
Ariko
down.
barya abantu baguma hasi.
And those people remained on the floor.
Sinamenye impamvu.
I didn't know the reason.
None abasirikare batangira kubahagurutsa.
They started picking them up
Naho kumbe barahambira.
and turns out they were tied.
Niyo mpamvu badahaye bahaguruka.
That was the reason they were not standing on their own.
Nimutekereze muri modoka
Think that you're in a car in a youth.
ko barawutibura kuri concrete
You're being released to fall on a concrete
kandi muhambiriye
and you're tied back.
mudashobora mbese kwirambira.
You are unable to save yourself.
Noneho ngo bahaguruke
Once they stood up,
usanga ni abantu.
we saw that there were people from our place.
Reka ndangiriza ku cyanyuma.
I would like to conclude on one thing.
Hariho prison imwe yari hari hariya
There was one prison.
kandi nivuga prison ntimugire ngo ni prison nk'iyanga imeze nk'ishuri oya.
When I say a prison, do not visualize the prison that you see here that look like schools.
Yari amazu
It was just a normal house.
bagashyiramo abantu bakinga imiryango n'amadirisha
They would just take people inside
bagashyiraho igufuri bakigendera.
and they would lock them.
Yarimo abantu 68.
There were 68 people
kandi bose bari abagabo nta bagore bari barimo.
and they were all men. There was no women in
Ariko
between.
harimo n'abana b'abasore nyine batoya.
But there was also young men.
Mu bwoko bwacu hari ibintu bidakunda kuvugwa
You know, in our tribe, there are things that we don't say.
kandi ko ndagerageza nyine kuvuga ibintu mbese bigomba kuvugwa.
And I'm trying to say this spoken.
Muri abo bantu bose 68
And all those 68 people,
nta muntu wari wambaye ihuzu.
there was no one that was dressed.
Kandi nivuga guco nyine muzumve gutyo.
When I speak of that, take it as it is.
Kandi reka nsubire ku Banyamulenge abatari bo mumbabarire.
Let me go back to the Abanyamulenge. If you're not a Congolese, please bear with
Duhagurukije
me.
abagabo 68
If we ask 68 men to stand up
tukabwira ngo nimwibwirane.
and ask them to introduce themselves,
Mwosanga harimo abana n'ababyeyi.
you will find that among them are parents.
Mwosanga hari abakwe na basebukwe.
You will find that among them are sons-in-laws and fathers-in-law.
Icya kabiri
The second,
Abanyamulenge duhagurukije abantu 68
if I ask 68 Banyamulenge to stand up,
twitoboramo umupasiteri.
among them, there's no way you can find a pastor.
Ibi ko ndavuga kuko muri abo ngabo harimo abapasiteri.
That's what I meant by the 68 people that were prisoned there. Among them were pastors.
Harimo n'abana batoya
There was also young men
bashumwe n'abo bapasiteri.
that were being led by those pastors.
kandi gako turavuga ibintu by'imyaka 28 ishize.
We're talking about something that happened 28 years ago.
Ico gihe umusore genda w'umurimbyi na pasteur wiwe
That time, a pastor and a singer from their church,
byari bitandukanye nk'umubyeyi n'umwana.
it was not different. It's a son and a father.
Ariko baje kwisanga muri iyo humiliation.
But they found themselves in that situation.
Kandi so umunsi umwe ni nk'igihe cy'ukwezi kwa.
It was not just for a day, but something of about 1 month.
Reka turangize.
Let's conclude.
Recommendation sinigena kubera umwanya.
My recommendation,
Reka tuyisigire umutumirwa wacu
let's leave it for our invitee
uvuye hanze
that's outside the country.
ari uza kuduheza icyakorwa
He's the one that's going to give us a suggestion of what to
kugira
do
ngo dushobore kwikura muri bese muri ubwicanyi.
so that we can take ourselves from the injustice that's happening.
Mutabarire gutinda.
You please bear with us for taking extra time.
Reka duhagarire aha ngaha.
Let me conclude here.
Murakoze cyane.
Thank you so much.
Komeje kumwihanganisha cyane.
We keep passing on our condolences.
Birababaje
It's saddening
iyo abantu bavuga amakuru nk'aya
when people are giving an account like this.
no kugira ngo dukuremo isomo
It's so that we can take something out of it.
no kugira ngo tubwire abatari bene wacu batazi ibyo bintu byabaye
It's so that we can tell other people that are not from our tribe,
kugira ngo bumve ibyatubayeho
so that they can learn what happened to us.
atari ukubyumva gusa
Not just hearing it
ari ugushakira umuti hamwe
or in unison or in togetherness, helping us to find the medicine, the cure to it,
kugira ngo ntibikongere
so that it doesn't happen again.
twiyegereje kandi perezida wa board ya BCCA
We again welcome the board leader of the BCCA.
twamubonye ko yahageze
We've
Claude
seen you that you've arrived.
twakiriye kandi abashyitsi bashasha binjiye nyuma
We also welcome other guests that came in later.
Councillor Julie
Councillor Julie
na Councillor Bob
and Councillor Bob.
turabashimiye kuza kwifatanya natwe
We thank you for trying to find the time to be with us.
mbere y'uko twumva umushyitsi wacu wundi mutumirwa mukuru
Before we hear from our special guest,
ni umutumirwa woherejwe kuvuga mu mwanya wa Mayor Lara
it's a guest that was sent to speak in place of Lara,
Steve Abushi.
Steve Abushi.
mbere y'uko tumwakira
Before we give them time,
twagira ngo tumenye yuko umucikacumu w'Ibogobogo yaba yahageze
would like to know if a survivor from Bibogobogo has arrived.
kandi nimba atarahagera
And if they're not here yet,
twashakaga ko ari bubanze kugira ngo umushyitsi aze kuvuga ashingiye ku buhamya ndetse n'ibyo yumvise byaba byiza.
we wanted the survivor to speak first so that once the guest speaks, he will speak after hearing the survivor's account.
Turaza kandi gusaba abantu bari ubuhanga bw'ibyuma
We would also like to ask people on the media
kugira ngo baze kudufasha
to help us
kunyuzaho amwe mu mashusho
to show some of the images or videos.
Baradushiriraho indirimbo umuntu arimo araza kandi tumwihanganire ari mu kagare abana n'ubumuga.
While we wait for the person, he's in a wheelchair, so he needs to be helped and needs to take a little longer as we wait for them, would like the media team to put a song for us.
kandi tukeneye kumwumva rwose.
We would love to hear from them.
Reka tumwihanganire iminota mike
So
batumize
let's bear with
indirimbo
them for a few more minutes,
n'abandi bamufashe kwinjira
while others also help him
kandi bamwiteho kugira ngo yinjire mu buryo
and take
bwiza
care of him to get in well
batamwihutisha kandi batamuhutaje.
without rushing them.
Murakoze.
Thank you.
barashiye abanzi babone bageze mu gakubiro abica bagashimira ibisinganje ibyo umugambi wababisha wazimye umunyamurenge ku ikarita ya Kongo ibagiza wa mugani uvuga umwanza gucira ko imana gucira kanzu tura nawe warahumiwe imiyana yawe amakarisa yawe yahawe inkongi ababyeyi bikorezwa amaboko
turaza gusaba ko bamanura ibyuma gatoya.
Media team would like the song to be ended.
Dufite abatangabuhamya benshi.
We have many people that are going to give their testimony.
Twese abanyamurenge bari hano ni abatangabuhamya.
All the Abanyamulenge people are witnesses.
Nta muntu wabura ikintu avuga ku bwicanyi budukorerwa uhereye uburimo kuba none.
There's no one that cannot give out an information about the killings that are happening from now and others that happened even before we were born.
warokotse ku icumu ryo mu Gatumba ari ryo noneho riduteranyijeho hano uyu munsi.
We're going to hear from someone, from survivor in Gatumba, and that's the reason we're gathering here.
arimo kwicara
While they're also being seated,
babanze bareke yicare aruhuke.
give him time to rest.
Nta mpamvu yo kumwihutisha.
There's no time to rest them.
Turaza kumva umucikacumu wo mu Gatumba nyirizina Shikiro araza kuduha ubuhamya bwo mu Gatumba. Nasoza Serugo araba yaruhutse nawe araza gutambuka aduhe ubuhamya. Karibu.
abo twari ku Gatumba bari aha ngaha utambuka tuhagararana wari mu Gatumba cyangwa ari Bujumbura wari registered mu mpunzi utambuka tukabana.
Everyone who were in Gatumba that time, you may come and stand with us.
Dutanga dushimira Australia twakiriye bari aha ngaha benshi nyuma y'urugendo rurerure rwo kuba impunzi ahatandukanye.
We start by thanking Australian which has welcomed us.
Batwemeye mu gihe igihugu cyacu cyatwanze.
They accepted us when our own country denied us.
Bakaduha ubuturo.
They have given us home.
Turabashimiye.
We thank you so much.
Kandi twongeye gushimira abanyamurenge bose muri rusange bari aha ngaha.
We thank all Abanyamulenge who are here.
Bateguye umwanya kugira ngo tubwirane amakuru kandi tunamagane n'ibyabaye bitazongera kandi kuba.
Who have prepared this time so we can tell each other and remind each other what has happened.
Abayobozi bacu turabashimiye.
Thank you so much, our leaders.
Kandi dushimira nanone nawe waje kugira ngo tubane.
And we thank our special guest who came.
Kuko umuvandimwe Mika yavuze.
As my brother Micah said,
kuko twari aho ngaho.
Really, we were there.
Twari mu bashakaga kwica.
They were there and they were going to be killed.
Bivuze ko mu byifuzo byabo iyo abatwose abanyamurenge bose bari mu Gatumba.
Which means if all Abanyamulenge were in Gatumba that night,
icyifuzo cy'abashakaga kwica nuko twese twabaga turi hamwe byibuze bakatwikira hamwe twese tukibagirana.
They wanted to kill all Abanyamulenge. If they were all together that night, they should be all perished.
Bivuze kuko nawe aho wari uri,
which means wherever you were, you're supposed to be killed that night.
Muri make twese uretse gushamikirana nkuko yabivuze,
as he said,
ariko twese urupfu rwari rumwe.
The dead were the same.
Tukiriho twebwe,
so if we were still alive, it's because our people will flourish again.
Biragoye kugwa mu maboko y'abuzi ngo nibo bari bafite amaboko aruta abandi ku isi.
It is hard to know that you are dying in the hand or in the arm of those people who you knew they're going to protect you.
Icyo twari tuzi kuko amaboko aruta yandi na amaboko y'Imana.
We knew that it's only God who has a mighty hand.
No ku isi tukamenya kuko UN nayo kandi.
And we knew in this world UN
ari ifite amaboko adasanzwe kandi yo kubera ukingira umuntu ku isi kandi hose.
Is very strong to protect each and every person in this world.
Aho rero abanyagatumba bari bizeye ubuzima.
Where the Gatumba people trusted to build their life.
Ababaye mu makambi muzamona ibyapa bya UNHCR uko biba bimeze.
People who all came from the camp, you have seen the tent of UN the way it's built.
Baza bashira amaboko hejuru y'umuntu kwa mukingi.
They do put their hand on top of a person, means that they are protecting that person.
Ababonye amahema y'impunzi nuko niko bameze.
If you have seen the tent, that's the sign which is on those kind of tents.
Bivuze ngo bararinzwe.
Which means they are protected.
Ariko ntago ariko byabaye ku banyamurenge bari mu Gatumba.
But that's not the same way it was that time.
Reka mvuge ku munsi abanyamurenge biciwe mu Gatumba.
Let me speak about the day people were killed in Gatumba.
Habaye mugoroba ntitwagiraga amadushe, habaga amadushe rusange.
It was one evening, we didn't have a bathroom inside, but we had a sharing bathroom outside.
Nanone uko yari yubatse nta zasaga nkaho ari hanze n'ubundi.
But the way those bathrooms were built, it looks like just being outside.
Noneho abantu bogaga nijoro.
And the people used to have a shower at night.
Igitangaje uwo munsi nyine,
the amazing thing, the same day,
haraba abajanaga amazi kuja koga.
There is people who used to carry the water to have a shower.
Bamara bagatinya akamena amazi akagaruka.
They were going out and they were scary and leave the water come back inside.
Noneho imibiri irikanga.
So they were scary. They had a fear.
Yagendagiye koga.
If a person will go to have a shower,
abenshi bagarutse batoze bakagira ubwoba gusa.
Many came back inside the tent without having a shower because they were scared.
Nta makuru afite, nta kepfo ka ruguru, ariko ubwoba nyine buraba urufuza runuka.
They felt fear without seeing any sign.
Reka twite ku mwanya habaye k'amasaha 4 n'igice nari ntararyama.
Around 10:30 p.m.
Nari mu mahema avanzemo abarundi n'abafurero n'andi moko iya kera.
He was living in the tent with Burundians.
Inkambi yari imwe ariko byari biciye ibiri byarerebanaga.
They were one tent but divided in two.
Ahiganje Abanyamulenge.
They were a part of Abanyamulenge,
Yari amahema mashasha.
which was a new tent.
Harimo n'ababembe bakeya.
And there were Babembe in that tent as well. Few of them. They just loved living with the Banyamulenge. They didn't love to separate. When we are speaking about the other tribes we lived with, there is other people they consider a human being as a human. They love their brethren. They were killed with the Banyamulenge the same night. That night, he was not yet going to bed.
Isasu rya mbere ryavuze barirasiye aho abapolisi bararaga hagati y'amahema yombi mbese aho Abanyamulenge bari n'aho abafurero bari.
The first bullet went in the middle where the Bafulero and the Babembe were, in the middle there.
Ico gihe bahise bahagarara hagati yacu je nari inyuma yabo muri aya mahema yariganjemo abafurero.
He were living where the Bafulero living in the big group.
Muribuka bari bazi Muzenda Kanirwa aguye mu Gatumba.
Remember they knew this person he just mentioned.
Iwe yumvishije amasasu arapfa dakozweho.
When he heard the first bullet, straight away he died.
Twari inyuma rero twari mugongo wabarimo bica.
He was in the back of the tent so they could see how people are being killed.
Bafesinze Abanyamulenge bari.
So they faced the Banyamulenge tent.
Twebwe dusigara mugongo inyuma yabo.
And we were in the back.
Mu by'ukuri batangiye kwica abandi bari imitsinda bahe baririmba ku ruhande.
They start killing while others were singing.
Ndetse bamwe mu Banyamulenge bagira ngo none n'abari mu gitaramo.
And other group of Banyamulenge, they thought other people are just interceding somewhere.
Kandi aho mu Gatumba n'ahantu bari bororeye inka.
And in Gatumba they had their farm of cows.
Bakundaga kwiba inka n'ubundi.
They normally come and they will steal their cows.
None babwira Abanyamulenge nibaza bumva amasasu ntibakaze bagira ikibazo nibabibye binka.
Then they told the Banyamulenge, when you hear, the police said, when you hear the bullet, do not worry, as just the robbers coming to take your cow.
Abanyamulenge barishwe.
Banyamulenge were killed.
N'abandi bose babiguze barapfanye.
And others who loved Banyamulenge were killed with them the same night.
Barishe.
They killed.
Bagera batwika amahema.
Until they burned their tent.
N'ubundi ngo je nari nkiri inyuma yabo nariko mbareba.
I was still in the back of tent. I was watching what is happening. People, we were together in the same tent. I said to them, go out. Come out there. They are not coming to kill us where we are. They know the tent where Banyamulenge lives. So come out and come to the place where we are. And they came to grab him. But we escaped. And they went to the farm which was next to the tent. After they have done what they were doing, they burned the tent. And the fire came, so it became like a daytime. They were Burundian. And they declared that they had done it. And some of Congolese Bafulero. And those people who were killing that night, they were speaking Kirundi and Gifulero. Until 3 a.m., that's when the government of Burundi came. They start helping those who were wounded. And I arrived to see to the scene First, I was there.
ingabo z'u Burundi zarahageze
When the army came,
babandi bari mu bisho ntaho dutaka
those who were killed, some of them, they could not cry out.
nta batatse nta nduru yabaye barimo kwica
None of them cry out.
ahubwo baje gutaka ruko ingabo z'u Burundi zihageze
But they cry out when the government army arrived.
baraduhamagara bari abazima ngo nimutuze dufashe abakomeretse
They start calling out to come and help those who were wounded.
nari mvuze ko ntahagaze kandi mu bambere mu bagarutse aho ngaho ntahagaze kandi mu bambere
I was among of people who came first on the scene.
harabo twaganiriye bakifita kuka gake baradusezera
We spoke to some of people who were still breathing,
harabo twafashe n'ubundi gushira modoka bajanwa mu bitaro
and we helped others, sending them to the hospital.
murabizi ko hapfuye abantu 166
And you know, 166 were killed the same night.
abahagaze mu gitondo babonye ibishiri gukonta abantu batwitse bahire mahema byari bibabaje
People who came that very early morning, they could see people were burned,
kandi bose baguye maboko bari bizeye ko arimo ubuzima
and they died in UN's hand protection.
bose baguye maboko yarize kuko bari mu maboko mazima batogwamo
And they die in the hand of those they trusted that they are protecting them.
reka nsoze mvuga ngo abanyamulenge mwese ni pole
I just concluding comforting you all.
ahangaha turi mu mahanga
Where we are here is not our home.
dufite byinshi byiza
We have good things,
ariko kandi turi mu mahanga
but we live in a...
umugabo ngo yabaye ibwami
This man lived in the kingdom.
umugabo ngo yabaye ibwami
He lived in the kingdom.
aryiza ubwami akarara ibwami aheza hashasha akarya agahaga kandi akaryama
He lived in the kingdom and he enjoyed life.
ngo yamara guhanga akavuga akumuntu ukamenya icyo umuntu n'icyo afite cyanje
Oh, after you are full, you say, what you have is yours. So you are full with what you have.
ngiye gusoza muranyihangana gatoya gusa ndagira ngo mvuge turi mu mahanga
So I'm just telling you that we are here, but this is not our home.
nubwo hari abayivuga yamara guhaga akabanga k'umuntu abanyamurenge ko murabyumva
After that person ate, because he was living in a good life in the kingdom, he will say, oh, what I have is mine.
none umwami aramaze se ako k'umuntu uvuga niki
And the king asked him, he said, what do you mean?
ntiyabivuga aramuhata
He didn't mention what he's saying.
none ngamara avuga ati ndi mukurya ariko ahaga si wanje
Oh, he said, I do eat, I live well, but this is not my home.
bya bindi bike by'iwanje iriya kwarago k'iwanje n'ukuntu meze iwanje mu rugo n'abana
But the little I have on my own home and the way I live with my family.
iyo mpaze inza nibuka ko atari iwanje aha
So when I eat here and I'm full, I do still remember that this is not my home.
iyo mpaze niyemerewe neza inza nibuka kuko ahangaha ari urugo rw'umwami atari urugo rwanje
I do remember that I live in the kingdom, but it's not my place.
Australia mwarakoze Imana ibaha umugisha
Australia, thank you so much for welcoming us.
n'ibindi bihugu byose byakiriye impunzi byose muzahirwe
And other countries which has received us, be blessed.
ariko abanyamurenge bagenzi banje
But my fellow Banyamulenge,
dufite ubuzima hano kandi ni bwiza
we have a good life here.
ariko dufite iwacu
But remember, we have our own home.
dufite ubuzima naje ndasa namwe ndambaye nkamwe naje mfite aho ndyama nkamwe naje mfite ibyo ndya nkamwe naje mfite transport nkamwe naje ndabifite
I have life, I live like everyone else.
ariko si iwacu
But this is not our home.
nanteye n'isoni kubivuga
I am not ashamed to say this.
nkora uba
I do work as an Uber driver.
iyo hinjiye abanyagihugu kasanga mu modoka
When Australian comes in my car,
icyo baza bambaza cambere baza banga ngo where are you from
they do ask me the first question, where do you come from?
nubwo wavukiye ahangaha akawuzukuriza toujours uzamubona wese azamubaza ngo wavuye
Even if your children are born here and you have grandchildren and grandchildren, still they will ask them, where are you coming from?
twibuka iwacu
So remember your home.
twibuka iwacu
Remember where you came from.
nakumuntu
It is your home.
reka ndangize kandi mbabwira ngo pole kandi abanyamurenge mwese
I just are sending my condolences.
iyo tubivuga nk'amateka
If we are saying this as a history,
biracyari kubiba n'ubu
but is something still happening even now?
abavugizi bacu amahanga nahaguruke.
So if you can speak for those who can't speak for themselves,
tuzagire iwacu amahoro.
and let us go back home safely.
Murakoze.
Thank you very much.
barakoze cyane kandi bakomeze kwihangana.
Thank you so much.
dukomeje rwose kubihanganisha.
We give our condolences,
uretse kubabwira ngo pole,
except telling you please be well.
nta kindi bashobora kuvuga muri uyu mwanya.
There's nothing else we can say in this moment.
birababaje
It's saddening,
ariko kandi tubabare dushaka n'ibisubizo.
but we're here so that we can find answers.
twakomeje tubona abashyitsi.
We've kept seeing more guests.
rwose turabashimira kwitabira ubutumwa bwacu.
We thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
twabonye Stephen.
We've seen
MP.
Stephen.
yahaguruka akaramutsa abantu.
Please stand up and say hello to everyone.
ni umuyobozi witabiriye invitation yacu.
He's a leader that has agreed to our invitation
kugira ngo nabo bazaba bahamya b'aya makuru.
so that they can also be witnesses of what we're saying here.
nicyo tuba twabatumiriye.
That's why we've invited you,
kugira ngo bamenye ko bakiriye abantu bafite ibikomere.
so that you've been invited by people that have wounds in their hearts,
kugira ngo bazabe bamwe mu gushaka igisubizo cyo kuvura ibyo bikomere.
so that you can be among the people that help us find the answers to the wounds.
yagendanye na mugenzi we Rodenburg.
He's traveled with Rodenburg.
ni Labour candidate
He's a Labour candidate
wa Melton.
from Melton.
nawe yahaguruka agasuhuza abantu.
Please stand up and say hello to the congregation.
kandi turabashimira ku bwitabire bwanyu.
And we thank you so much.
dukomeje n'ubuhamya.
We're going to keep hearing from people.
rero umucikacumu wo mu biwogobogo.
A survivor from Miwogowogo.
nk'uko twavuze dutangira, abanyamurenge bapfiriye mu duce twinshi twa Kongo.
Like we said at the start, Abanyamulenge people died from different parts of
Sergo
Congo.
araza guhagarara hano kubera access.
We're going to ask our brother to come here.
kubera ko hano hariho stairs.
Because of the
ntashobora
stairs, he's
kuzamuka.
unable to come on the podium.
atuze kunyarutsa kugira ngo tubahirize gahunda zose.
We're going to try and rush through things so that we might be able to get through everything as planned.
reka twongere dutegere ubundi buhamya.
Thank you. We're going to hear from our brother again.
Murakoze.
Thank you.
turabasuje mwese kandi kugira ngo dufatikanye mu by'ukuri twumve ubuhamya amateka yabaye iwacu twibuka buri gihe kandi buri munsi. imyaka ishize ni myinshi ariko tubyibuka buri munsi.
We remember every day
kubera ko si ikintu cyo kwibagirwa.
because it's something not to forget.
ikindi twari batoya
Another thing, we were young,
ariko batari batoya ku buryo bashobora kwibagirwa ibyo babonye.
but we were not so young to forget what we saw.
n'ibyo tugerageje kusa naho twibagirwa tubaza abandi bakongera bakatwibutsa.
Even if it seems like we're forgetting, we ask other people to remind us.
rero nge nturuka mu karere ka Bibogobogo.
As they've said, I came from Bibogobogo area.
mu muhana bitaga kwa Matare.
They used to call the place
Kwa
Matare.
Matare yego. abenshi barahazi.
Lots of people know the place.
n'abatahazi barahumva kubera amateka y'ibyahabereye.
Even the people that don't know of the place know it because of what has happened there.
abantu bari batuye kandi bari batuyeho mu mahoro.
People were living there and they were living in peace.
ariko ibihe bibi biza kutugeraho.
But bad moments happened to us.
Mu magambo makeya ndabyibuka,
In short words, I remember
hari umunsi wo kuwa gatatu.
it was a Wednesday.
Uwo munsi mu karere ka Bibogobogo wari umunsi abantu bose bajyaga basenga amasengesho yo kwiyiriza.
That day in Bibogobogo, it was a day that people used to pray and fast.
Rero hari amasaha yo mu gitondo nka saa yine saa tatu aho ngaho.
It was around 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning.
Twari mu rugo na mushiki wanjye nkurikira.
I was at home with my older sister.
Twumva abantu batangiye kuvuga ngo igitero kiraje.
We started hearing people say that the soldiers coming.
Twe kubera ko twari abana twumvaga ari ibintu biri aho ngaho bisanzwe.
Because we were kids, we thought it was something usual.
Ariko abantu bakuru bo batangira gufata ibintu mu mazu bajya kubihisha epfo mu bisambu.
But the older people who knew about it started taking their belongings and going to hide it in the bushes.
Kubera ko yari amasaha rero yo kujya gusenga yari magera, abandi bantu benshi birukanka bajya mu ikanisa.
Because it was about the time where people were meant to go pray, other people ran into the church.
Hadaciye umwanya munini nk'uko bari bavuze ko ibitero bije n'ubundi byaje kugera igihe bigera mu muhana.
Without taking long time, because they were saying that soldiers are coming, so it came time for them that they arrived.
Abantu benshi ntibari bahari nk'uko mubizi, bamwe bari baragiye, abandi bari mu mirimo isanzwe, bamwe bose ntago bari bari mu muhana.
Not everyone was there because others had went to the farms, to the jobs and other different places.
Abantu bari mu muhana rero barafashwe bose ndetse n'abatari bafite gahunda yo kujya gusenga uwo munsi barabatwara babinjiza mu ikanisa bose.
People that were all there, the ones that were meant to go into the church to pray that day, and other people that didn't have a plan to go to the church that day.
Ubwo ni ukuvuga ngo ni abantu bakuru ndetse n'abana.
There was all people from young, grown up and young kids. They were all taken to the church.
Kubera rero ko abantu n'ubundi bari mu mirimo hirya no hino nabo bagiye baza, bamaze kugera mu ikanisa nabo ikanisa riba ritoya.
Because other people were also concluding their business, they also came after and they were locked in the church as well.
Hari igihe cy'izuba ryinshi, abantu bari benshi.
It was on a hot day, there was lots of people.
Abana bari bashonje, abantu bari bananiwe.
Kids were hungry, people were tired.
Ni ukuvuga ngo baje gufata umwanzuro wo kuvuga ngo babasohore bagende babagabagabanya mu mazu babafungiranemo.
So because it was getting late and people were getting hungry, they decided to lock people in different houses.
Baje gufata abagabo babashira mu nzu imwe.
So they took all the men and locked them in one house.
Abagore n'abana nabo bagenda babagabanya mu zindi nzu zibiri.
And women and younger kids were also divided into two
Ariko mbere
houses.
yuko basohoka mu ikanisa,
But before they came out of the church,
bamwe mu bari bateye baravuze ngo bakeneye abantu baza kubatekera kuko bamaze umwanya munini amasaha menshi mu ikanisa.
among the people that had come to take over, among them they were hungry and they asked some people to cook for them.
Iryo ni ryo jambo bakoresheje ngo bakeneye abantu bajya kubatekera, ariko mu by'ukuri bagiye kujonjora bakajya bajonjoramo abakobwa bakiri bato bato n'aba bari bagishakwa ariko bigaragara ko ari batoye.
So when they were picking the people to cook for them, they were picking the visibly young adults, young ladies.
Kandi nuko mukuri n'ubundi amahene bari batangiye gufata, inkoko bari batangiye gufata, ibintu mu mazu babifashe.
They had started taking people's belongings such as cows and hens and goats as well.
Nubwo bashobora kuba barabatekera ariko ikintu nyamukuru ntago bari bagiye kubatekera.
Even if they were asking for people to cook them, that was not their main aim.
Ahubwo benshi barabafashe bajya kubasambanya.
But most of them were taken and they were raped.
Amasaha yarakomeje aragenda.
Time kept moving.
Abana benshi barahotewe b'abakobwa.
Lots of young girls were assaulted.
Mu rwego abantu batabasha kubisobanura.
To the extent that people can explain.
Ndetse benshi bamwe barapfuye kandi ayo ni amakuru y'ukuri.
And some have died from the assault and it's something that really happened.
N'abatarapfuye bamwe byabagizeho ingaruka.
And those that did not die suffered the consequences.
Abagabo mbere yo kubakura mu ikanisa,
before they took the men out of the church,
babambuye imyenda yo hejuru mu gituza.
They stripped them out of their upper garments.
amashati yawe niyo babayahambirizaga amaboko.
They took out their shirts and they used them to tie them.
Nukuvuga ngo aho bari bafungiye bari baboshe.
Which means where they were locked, their hands were tied.
Muri ubwo buzima bw'inzara batarya.
In that life of not eating.
Abafatwa ku ngufu bafatwa ku ngufu.
And others were being raped.
N'umunaniro n'iryo zuba murumva n'ahantu bari bafungiye.
And tiredness and the sun as well.
Ugurumva hari kuwa gatatu, kuwa kane, kuwa gatanu, kuwa gatandatu.
It was from Wednesday through to Saturday.
Abantu hari muri ubwo buzima.
People were in that life.
Nibwo rero baje gufata umwanzuro baravuga ngo barabatwara ibaraka.
That's when they decided to take them in Baraka.
Murumva abantu bari bananiwe gutyo batarya.
People that were tired for days, people that had gone for days without eating, people that were stripped of their shoes and their clothes.
Ku bantu wenda bari bakuru ariko ibyo baza batubwira kuva iwacu kwa Matare umanuka ujya Baraka.
From our place to Baraka.
N'ahantu washoboraga kuba wagenda isaha imwe.
It's somewhere you can go for an hour.
Ariko ahantu bagiye amasaha 10 kubera ko abantu bari bananiwe.
But because they were tired, they traveled for 10 hours.
Bageze Baraka n'ubundi bafunze abantu.
When they got to the place, they were also locked again.
Abagabo bafungiye kwabo n'abagore bafungira kwabo n'abana.
The men and the women were locked separately.
Abantu bari muri bwa buzima nta kurya n'inzara nta mazi.
People were still in that life of going without food.
Kandi n'ibyo bikorwa byose bibi bakomeje kubibakorera.
And all the other bad things were did to them.
Nyuma gato nibwo haje kuza ubutabazi.
After a while later, that's where people were helped.
Busanga abari bateye mu muhana n'ubundi bagihari bafite abagore bamwe baracyarimo bararya bacyarimo binezeza.
The help came by, it was to the place where people were first kidnapped and taken.
Murumva ko habayeho kurwana.
There was fighting.
Umusirikare umwe bazavuga mu babashije gucika.
One soldier that escaped.
Niyo wagiye agera Baraka asanga abantu bose baracyafunze baracyari muri ubwo buzima.
He's the one that went to Baraka and he found the people still living in that life of mistreatment.
Agerayo yarakaye n'umujinya mwinshi.
He got there and he was so angry.
Arababwira ngo se aba bantu muracyabafunze miki.
He asked them, why are you still locking these people?
Ngo bagenze banjye bose twari turi kumwe ngo bamaze gupfa ngo bano bantu kubera iki mukibabizi.
He said that all the other people that we were together have died. Why have you left? Why are you still locking these?
Biba ngombwa ko bafata umwanzuro wo gutangira kwica abantu.
So that's when they decided to start and kill people.
Inzu yari ifungiyemo abagabo bagera muri 37.
One house that had 37 men.
Babanje gusohoramo abagabo 5.
They first took out 5 men.
Gahunda bari bafite ntago ari kuvuga ngo bahite babarasa cyangwa babicire umwanya mutoya birangire.
Their plan wasn't to kill them straight away at that moment.
Nukuvuga ngo abo bantu bashobora kuba bagera muri 5 bashobora kuba barabishe mu gihe kirenza amasaha 8.
It is possible that those 5 people were killed in a range of 8 hours.
Birumvikana ko barabatotezaga n'iyica rubozo babakoreraga.
It is possible that they were tortured first before they were killed.
Ubwo nyuma haje kuba nk'akavuyo n'urusaku abana abagore bamaze kumenya ibiri kuba.
Afterwards, when people learned about the killings, there were screams, the people tried to escape and they were crying.
Gusakuza no kuvuza induru.
They started crying, screaming and asking for help.
Ariko n'ubundi ntacyo bari bafite cyo gukora.
But they were still helpless. They couldn't do anything.
Barakomeje bica abagabo.
They kept killing men.
Kandi barabica koko.
And they killed them for sure.
So inyuma gato yanjyewe papa umbyara ntago duterwa ntiyarahari.
If I go back a little bit, when we were being attacked, my father wasn't there.
Ariko n'ubundi niyo bari nabo nta mahoro bari bafite kuko barahigwaga.
But also where he went, there was also no peace.
Barahunze baraza bageze mu muhana basanga nta muntu n'umwe uhari.
So when they came back to the place, there was no one.
Mubo babashije guhura ngira ngo n'umubembe arababwira ngo mwahunga mwareka ariko mumenye ko mu muri uyu muhana nta muntu n'umwe warokotse. Baragiye bari Baraka. Ndetse bashobora kuba barapfuye.
So they met a person that told them about what had happened to the people that were there.
Yari kumwe na mugenzi we bafata umwanzuro wo kumanuka kugira ngo basanga abandi.
So he was with a brother as well, and so they decided to go where the others were being
Niko byagenze baragenda bagezeyo nawe baramufunga na hamwe n'abandi.
So when he came as well, he was also captured.
Kubera rero bwa bwicanyi bwabo kurya bakomeje kwica abantu.
Because of the ongoing killings that were happening.
Ntago bakomeje noneho kubikora kwa kundi baravuze ngo aho bigeze
they did
reka
not.
tubice turangize.
So they did not decide to do it one by bit. They decided to kill all of them at once and end it.
Bica abantu.
So they killed people.
ariko bageze ku nzu yarimo abadamu ndetse n'abandi bagabo bakeya harimo na muzehe wanje nimo yarari.
So when they got to a house that had mostly women and a few men, including my father,
amabuye bakaza bakoresha n'imipanga n'amacumu.
So they used stones and machetes as well to kill them.
Binjiramo baratemagura batera
abantu. So they went in and killed people with machetes and stones as well.
Nibyo nari mbabwiye ngo papa nimo yarari afite manyana yiwe umugore.
I was saying my father was in there and he was with his in-law.
Yego kubera ko urumva bari abagabo ntago babishe nkuko bicaga abagore ahubwo barabanzaga bakabakuramo kugira ngo babice nabi.
Because they were men, they were being picked upon and killed a different way than they killed women.
N'ubundi bari muri yanzu barimo bica.
While they were in the house killing people,
bageze kuri papa bagiye kumutera icumu.
When they got to my father and they were about to spear him to death,
uwo manyana yiwe aritambika aravuga ngo ntimwokwica murageze ndi kubareba.
So the sister-in-law came to the front and said, "You're not going to kill my brother-in-law as I see you."
aritambika aramwitambika.
So when they were about to spear my father to death, the sister-in-law went in front instead.
babatera icumu rirabafata bombi.
So they killed them together. They were speared together to death.
barakomeza barica abantu bose barabica.
And they kept killing and killed everyone.
ariko kubera umugambi w'Imana kwa kuntu baza batemagura harimo bamwe bagize ubwoba baragwa.
Of God, while they were killing people with machetes, some fell down just because of the fear.
abandi barakomereka ariko bari bataracikana.
Others were wounded a bit, but they did not die.
ni ukuvuga ngo haje kurokokamo abagore bagera muri batanu.
So that meant that 5 women were survived.
ari nabo bahamya b'ibi ngibi turi kuvuga.
And one of the witnesses of what we're saying, they're the ones that told us what we're speaking.
nabo ntago babashije kubaho bose kubera ko murumva bari bananiwe bari bashonje.
All of them did not fully survive because they were wounded, they were hungry, and they were tired.
babiri muri bo n'ubundi baje kugwa mu nzira aho baza bahunga kuko ababicaga baramaze nabo barahunga.
So among the 5 that had firstly survived, 2 of them died on the way because of the wounds.
Imana iza kubayobora baragenda barazamuka basubira mu muhana bahura n'abantu.
The remainder 3 were finally made it to the place and reunited with others.
nta bundi buryo dushobora kubisobanura wenda kubera umwanya.
There's no other way we can explain it because of time.
ariko ibintu byabaye iwacu biteye ubwoba.
But what has happened back home is scary.
kandi murumva ko abo se bonyine bari mu muhana hari abandi bafashwe batabashije gupfa muri ako kanya.
And they were not the only ones. There were other people that were captured.
bari bagiye bahungira hirya no hino ariko n'ubundi bakisanga mu maboko y'abanzi.
They had tried to escape seeking refuge to other places, but they found themselves in the hands of the
harimo abantu
enemies.
b'ingeri zose abantu bakuru abana.
There were people from all different age ranges, from older ones to younger ones.
bamwe baherukanye n'ababyeyi babo icyo gihe ariko amakuru dufite kuri uyu munsi wa none.
Some people last saw their parents then, but the news that we have today,
cyangwa se twabashije kumenya,
or the news that we've had,
ni uko abenshi bajyanywe Tanzania nk'uko amakuru namwe muza muyumva.
is that most of them were taken to Tanzania.
ni ukuvuga ngo n'uyu munsi wa none bamwe barahari abandi bashobora kuba barapfuye.
Even up to now, some of them might still be living, but some might be dead.
ikimenyemenye ni uko n'uyu munsi wa none hari abakigenda baboneka.
It is a sign because even up to now, some people show up and speak as survivors.
kandi bikagaragara neza ko baje bavuye Tanzania.
And it's visible that they're coming from Tanzania.
abo bana barahari kandi ni abahamya.
Those kids are alive and they're witnesses.
rero turimo tugana ku musozo.
While we conclude,
ni icyifuzo cyangwa ni ubusabe.
it's a request that I have.
mu by'ukuri abacu barapfuye twarababaye.
Honestly, people died and we were saddened by it.
kandi tuzakomeza kubivuga.
And we will keep speaking of it.
ariko hari n'abandi bahari dusa naho tutazi irengero ryabo bashobora kuba bagihari.
But there are others that might still be alive, but we don't know where they are.
ariko mu by'ukuri tudafite ubushobozi wenda mu buryo bworoshye bwo kuvuga ngo uragenda uhita ugera ku muntu umuzane.
But honestly, we don't have the ways to easily get to them and bring them back.
nicyo twari dusabye niba ari ibishoboka tuzahaguruka dufatikanye.
It is a request that I had for us to join hands together and
kuko
try and find
hari
them.
abana benshi bagihari
Because there are still lots of kids that are still alive.
bamwe mu bagiye bagirwa amahirwe bakaboneka
Some of them that got lucky and they were found.
nibo bahamya b'ibyo ngibyo
Those are one of the witnesses of what happened.
kubera ko benshi bamwe twari tuzi ko bapfuye ariko bagenda baboneka
Because many we knew that were dead.
ndabaha urugero
out and
ku mudamu umwe
I would say an example of one woman.
yitwaga Nyanziza papa we yitwaga Matsinda
She was called Nyanziza and the father was
Matsinda
Matsinda.
abantu bari bazi ko yapfuye ariko yaje kuboneka
Many people thought that she was dead, but she was found and she was
muri ba
alive.
bantu bari barasohoye mu ikanisa cyagiye bavuga ngo bagiye kubatekera ariko ari ukubahohotera nawe yari arimo
Some of the people that were taken out of the church to go and cook for the people that were
hari n'abandi benshi bagenzi be bari kumwe nabo harimo na mushiki wanjye nkurikira bwa kabiri
So there was also my sister.
urumva n'icyo gihe tubaheruka
That's the last time we saw them, but we've heard that they're
byashoboka ko nawe
alive.
ariho nk'uko n'uwo mugenzi we yabonetse
It is possible that my sister is still alive like the friend
rero
was
twari
found.
tuvuze ngo turahari ubwo Imana yadusigaje
We were saying that we're still alive like we had the chance to be.
ariko nanone byaba bibabaje harimo abavandimwe
But it is still sad if there's brothers
batabashije gupfa muri icyo gihe Imana yarinze
that did not die during that time,
ariko tukaba tubabara nk'abapfuye kandi bahari
but we still count them as dead even though they're still
ariko
alive.
twese hamwe tubitekereje neza
But if we
tukabihagurukamo
all think about it and stand together in
abantu
unison,
benshi baboneka abana benshi bataha
lots of kids can be found.
soza wenda nk'uko nari mbivuze reka basi tugerageze gatoya n'abana batari benshi cyane bamaze kuboneka
While we conclude, I would like
ariko tubasomera amazina yabo gusa kugira
to
ngo
read the names of the people that have been found.
ibi ni ibihamya by'uko ibyo tuvuga ari ukuri
These are signs of what we speak to be true.
rero hari umwana witwa Nshoreyingabo Mucyo
There's one kid called Nchuro Mucho.
yabonetse mu mwaka w'igihumbi kimwe magana cyenda mirongo cyenda n'umunani bamukuye Ibaraka
He was found in 1998 and he was found in Baraka.
undi ni umudamu nari mbabwiye witwa Nyanziza Matsinda yabonetse mu 2007 nawe yabonetse Tanzania.
The second survivor was found in 2007 in Tanzania and she went by the name Nyanziza
undi wa
Matsinda.
gatatu ni uwitwa Nyamunezero Fabiano yabonetse mu mwaka w'2009.
The third is Nyamunezero Fabienne that was found in 2009.
hari amakuru nigeze kubona ku rubuga basa n'abanditse nimugoroba
There
bavuga
were
ngo
news
umwana
that
ushobora kuba yarabonetse hano hari ukuntu babivuze uyu nguyu ni mushiki wiwe uyu ni mushiki wiwe witwa Nyamunezero.
So there's a person that lives here. This person that I just read is a relative to them.
undi wabashije kuboneka ni uwitwa Bisengo Inusi yabonetse mu 2013.
Another survivor is
Bisengo iwe yabonetse i Burundi ariko nawe yaravuye Tanzania.
He was found in 2013 in Burundi, but
undi
he
wa
was from
gatandatu
Tanzania.
yitwaga Iranzi Budederi
A sixth survivor was Iranzi Budederi.
yabonetse 2018 nawe bamubona i Burundi kandi nawe yaravuye
He was
Tanzania.
also found in Burundi, but he was from Tanzania.
ariko yavuze ko yakuriye muri Plaine urumva abo bari bamufite niho bari batuye.
But he said that he grew up.
uwa karindwi wabonetse yitwaga Nyamukobwa Manuel
The seventh survivor was Nyamukobwa.
yabonetse mu mwaka w'2024 murumva ko ari vuba.
She was recently found in 2024.
iwe yabonetse i Burundi ariko yavuze ko yakuriye Mushimbaki.
She was found in Burundi, but she said that she grew up in Mushimbati.
yego uwa munani yitwa Niyonkuru Garasiani yabonetse mu mwaka w'2025.
The last one was Niyonkuru, and he was found in 2025.
bamuboneye i Kigali ariko yaravuye muri Tanzania.
He was seen in Kigali, but he was coming from Tanzania.
ibi ni ibihamya by'uko abantu benshi bakiriho batapfuye.
These are signs that many people survived and did not die.
niyo mpamvu twari dusabye ngo niba hari icyakorwa abantu dufatikanye.
That's why I was asking if there's a way for us to come together in unison and try to find an answer or try to find many of the lost.
naho ubundi mu by'ukuri dusoje twihanganisha abantu bose
But as we conclude, we give our condolences to everyone
ku karengane twakorewe
for the injustice that happened to us,
ku bwicanyi bwadukorewe
for the killings that happened to us
tutazibagirwa
that we'll never forget.
kandi n'abacu bapfuye tutazibagirwa
And also our people that died, we won't forget them
kubera ko turiho kandi Imana yaraturinze kandi
because
turabagaba
we made it out alive.
rero Imana ibahe umugisha
So thank you so much.
dukomeze twihangane twese
Thank you so much.
arakoze Sergo. bari tuvuze ngo arakoze Sergo kandi komeze kwihangana.
We were thanking our brother.
Ibindi yarasabye ubuyobozi buzabikurikirana.
What he had asked for, the leadership is going to follow up on that.
N'ababifitiye ibihamya nabo bazabegera gutanga amakuru ahagije tubikurikirana.
And others that have signs and evidence, we're going to also follow up with you.
Tugeze mu mwanya rero ku shyira hamwe intekerezo tukareba documentaire.
So we're in the moment of putting our thoughts together and watching a documentary.
kugira ngo tuze gukurikizaho amajambo y'abashitsi.
So that after that, we're going to hear from our guests.
Reka bari ku buhanga bw'ibyuma bashyireho documentaire.
Let's ask the people in the media to put the documentary for us to watch together.
Turaza gukurikizaho abashitsi.
And after that, we're going to hear from the guests.
Karibu abari ku buhanga bw'ibyuma.
A night the world must remember. There are places in the world that look ordinary from the outside. Small, quiet, unremarkable. Gatumba was one of those places. A transit camp on the western edge of Burundi, a few kilometers from the border of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Cooking fires in the morning, children playing in the dust between the tents. Families who had already survived so much, who had walked away from war, from burning villages, from everything they had ever owned, and who had arrived here, registered their names, and told themselves, the worst is over. We are safe now. They were not safe. On the night of August 13th, 2004, armed men entered Gatumba refugee camp and did not stop until 166 people were dead. Another 106 were wounded, many of them for the rest of their lives. Most of the dead were women and children, people who had been asleep, people who never saw it coming. The attack lasted less than 1 hour. 20 years later, not one person has been convicted.
ariko mu buryo n'amasasu yari kwatwinjirana muri uwo mwanya sinamenya uko nabyita cyane abantu bararaswa abantu baricwa kugeza igihe abantu bamwe bari bafite ibipurizo abantu benshi barabizi kuko mu gihe igipurizo twari tukizi.
Can we please ask those who is in front to just reduce some of the lights, please? Reduce some of the lights, please.
There was a smoke, a fire that you could just see light up the sky. And then indur yaban. So you could just hear people screaming, and you could just see it up in the air. That's one sound that 21 years old. 21 years later, that sound tickling in my ear. You take it like when there's fire, like July 4th, that always remind me of that day.
rero nanje ntagurutse ngo mbanda se bamaze kurasa umwana wanjye muri bino n'amadamu nabumvikana ndaguruka kugira abaniki aho kuvuga ngo mbona abantu kuba ndagerageza ndahaguruka kugira ngo bandase ntabona ngo ndabigira biranga ubwo naciye ubushi ndagenda ihema ndasohoka ndagenda maze gushika nkariya ndavuga nti ndahemutse ndasohoka ndagaruka siza abana mu mukore ndagenda ndabavuga nti muze tugende naciye ihema n'ukurikira abana barankurikira amadamu turagenda.
The night of August 13th, 2004 began like every other night. Fires burned down to embers. The camp grew quiet. Families went to sleep. Then the silence broke.
That night, it was a kind of a strange night. I remember that I wasn't, of course, sleeping. I was still awake. And then we started hearing gunshots. When we heard the gunshot, what happened in Burundi, there's this saying that there's thieves that come to steal cows. So every time you hear a gunshot, don't freak out. That was the concept. Don't freak out. Don't do anything crazy. It's just thieves who are here to steal people's cow, and then they will leave. So that's the mindset people had. So, but as the gunshots they kept shooting, it started to be something unusual. It was like rain of gunshots. People were screaming. You were calling God to find a survival. So what I remember, I woke up, got up from the mattress where I was, get my clothes. Some people, they slept without clothes and back home. So I put myself clothes, and then I told my other roommate, hey guys, let's dress up. We are under attack. But at that time, the adults already knew that the camp was attacked. So the gunshots went crazy around, I will say, 40 minutes or 45, and then stopped. There was a silence of gunshot. From that time to the moment you realize that you were being attacked on your own tent, the only sign to know was people screaming, oh, I'm dying, oh, God help me, oh, my dad help me, I'm being shot, or I just being shot. Right now, I've been shot on my leg, my arm. And plus that, I was not sleeping on the same tent with my family. So the only survival place we had was to cut the tent, not from the main door of the tent, back door of the tent, or the end of the tent. So I don't know who find tools or knife or whatever they found. They cut the tent, and then the parents who were there, he told us, guys, do whatever it takes. Get out of the tent. The camp has been attacked, and then some of the tents are being burned. So all three of us, the guy who was sitting next to us, sleeping next to us at that moment, he told us that he has been shot. And then other people in the same tent, they were being shot as well. You can hear people screaming, oh, being shot, this place, this place. It was crazy situation. So after that, we got up. The only hope I had at that moment, or the prayer that I had at that moment, was, God help me to get out of this situation.
Gatumba nahuriye papa, nkahurira mama. Papa yitwaga Rukanyumva hose Amahinga. Mama yitwaga Marisiyana Nyabintu. Ahurira musaza wanje witwaga Bisitsa Amahinga. Ahurira mukuru wanje witwaga Munezero Muhire. Ahurira uwo twanganaga Nyabyinshi Muhire. Ahurira abana mukuru wanje babiri, Felix na Fi. Ariko maze kubakana n'umutware wanje nawe yahahuriye mama wiwe na mukuru wiwe witwaga Muhorana. Urumva nabuze hafi abantu 9 cyangwa barenga.
Ikintu kwibagirwa ni hejuru ya gukamirwa n'umugore we. Twari imbere iwe watangiraga hariya ku muryango wa block yacu, nanje nkaba inyuma. Ariko hari umugabo w'amahoro. Sinari muzi, bari bavuye muri Zura, natwe tutuyumvira, ariko noneraho yari umugabo w'amahoro menshi. Bahoraga tuganira, useka na madamu wiwe, abantu b'imico myinshi, imico myiza. Ibyo bintu sinzabyibagirwa. Zanibuka bamaze niwe batangiriweho, uko umwana avuga niwe batangiriyeho kandi ibyo twari tuzumva ntabwo ari kureba ariko twari tuzumva bihabiba nk'umugabo yahaguze agira ngo yirwane asohoka ariko ubu niwe batangiriyeho
twafashije abantu batatu bakuru bacu babiri b'abahungu na papa image tutazibagirwa for me ni ukuntu papa yapfuye kuko niwe bari turyamanye nyine hasi they shot him ruhande
baramurashe ku ruhande
baramurashe ku ruhande ndetse bamutera grenade mu mutwe that's how yapfuye.
3 days after the attack, the community buried its dead. 166 people. Behind every number was a name. Behind every name was a life that will not come back.
ishano ni uko abantu bicwa batazize amakosa yabo ariko bazize ico barico ururimi bavuga cyangwa isura yabo. Ishano kandi ni uko abantu bishwe n'abantu bavuye muri Kongo. Iyo jenoside yabereye mu Burundi, abishwe abakongomani. Rero umuntu akaba yibaza niba hari amoko amwe agomba kubaho n'andi atagomba kuba.
Every year, on the 13th of August, those who survived return. They stand in the place where it happened. They light candles. They read the names, all 166 of them, one by one. Because reading the names is a way of saying, you existed, you mattered, you are not forgotten. They bring their children, children who were not yet born when it happened, who stand in this place and learn what their family carries, so that the memory does not die with the generation that lived it.
Famille Serugarukira Antoine Nabitanga Serugarukira Nyantebuka Serugarukira hanyuma hariho abandi bantu babiri batabashe kumenyekana kubera ko bari bahiye birenze uko bashobora kubamenya.
Iyo turira nuko imitima iberemere kandi twabuze abantu bacu tubireba n'amaso kandi bagenda bihuse cyane uburyo twatunguka.
Ninko ibintu byari byarateguwe, hari amakambi yaratuwemo n'abanyamurenge, abandi nabo bakongomani n'abarundi bari mu makambi yabo asukwa. Aho narindi nabonye abantu bapfa, jewe uvuga mushiki wanje burikira uwo munsi yaguye aho twarasohotse dusohoka tuva muri iryo hema we baramurasa urusasu rwo mu mutwe hanyuma baza kumutwika ariko ntiyahiye wese yahiye nk'ukuguru mashitinga mugwaho.
Hari ibyagerageje gukorwa mu ruhande rwacu mu nyandiko no mu nkiko no gutanga ibirego byarakozwe. Babitanze mu gihugu cyabereyemo ayo marorerwa aricyo cy'u Burundi kugira ngo kibashe gukurikirana n'abemeye ko ari bo bisha abo bantu barimo Agatorwasa na Pasiteri Habimana kandi bari mu gihugu cy'u Burundi idegembye. Abo niho hambere twasabye. Aha kabiri ni igihugu cya Kongo aricyo dukomokamo aricyo Abanyamulenge bakomokamo, basabaga ati namwe nimuturenganure aka karengane twakorewe kuko harimo uruhare rw'abantu bazanye igitero bakivana muri Kongo.
Every year we have a memorial in August to honor them, to speak on their behalf, and the people even currently who are not in their home, they're still being chased away, being killed. So all these situations, the same thing that the tragedy that took place in Gatumba is still happening. So the memory we have for them is to say no to these such things.
Cyanejeje umutima wanje nuko abasigaye babayeho, abari bahiye bari barashwe mu mitwe babaho kandi nyuma yabo ngira abandi benshi ndunguka ubw'Imana.
We do this every year so we can raise awareness and seek justice, because what happened in 2004 is still happening up to today.
Remember Gatumba, not as a tragedy of the past, as an obligation of the present.
Watu ambao tunawafahamu washughulikiwe kwa minajili ya sheria. Wasakwe kama wako Kongo, wasakwe kama wako Ulaya, wasakwe ili iwe funzo kwa wengine ya kwamba huwezi kuwa bila kuwajibika. Kwa waliofariki, jukumu letu ni kuwakumbuka na kuwaenzi jinsi tunavyowakumbuka na kuwaenzi. Na mambo kama haya yanastahili kufundishwa katika kila shule, iwe katika mitaala, ili vizazi vya sasa, vizazi vya kesho vikumbushwe ya kwamba kulikuwa na mauaji kama haya.
Murakoze kwituze.
Thank you so much for staying still.
Kandi ndizera ko ibyo twabonye
And I believe that what we've seen,
ari isomo rikomeye mu ntekerezo zacu.
there's something that we've learned from it
Iza guhura n'ibiganiro turi bwumve.
that is going to come together or be in unison as what we're going to talk about or what we're going to hear
Reka
from.
duhamagare abantu baza gusoma amazina y'abantu bose twabuze kuri uriya munsi.
Let's ask for the people that will come and read out the names of the people that we lost on that day.
Batambuke bihuta
Please
bose.
come to the front quickly.
Bose batambuke hano.
All of you come out.
Baza gukurikirana bose ko ari batatu.
They're going to all follow each other.
Sorry, ni bane.
It's 4 of them.
Karibu tangire.
Please start to read the names.
Murakoze. Famille Minyati, Faustin Minyati, Gaddafi Minyati, Mereweneza Minyati, Nyanome Minyati. Famille Rutekereza, Jacques Rutekereza, Mushambaro Rutekereza, Giraneza Rutekereza, Nyamasomo Rutekereza, Ndatabaye Rutekereza, Nyazahabu Rutekereza, Nyamuryango Rutekereza. Famille Gasosi, Gasosi Eraste Jambu, Perusi Gasosi, Nyahumure Gasosi, Bahoza Gasosi, Deborah Gasosi. Famille Nyamusore, Nyamusore Karaha, Deborah Nyamusore, Arutwa Nyamusore, Kayonga Nyamusore, Ngezayo Nyamusore, Bebe Nyamusore. Famille Rukamirwa, Oze Rukamirwa, Marciana Rukamirwa, Bisetsa Rukamirwa. Famille Haizuru, Fille Haizuru, Felix Haizuru. Famille Gatoni, Mugotwa Gatoni, Nyabyiza Gatoni,
Deborah Gatoni, Aimé Gatoni. Famille Muhumuzi. Yeah. Elias Muhumuzi. Sorry. Famille Muhimuzi. Elias Muhimuzi. Munoni Muhimuzi. Mereweneza Muhimuzi. Famille Shemu. Mariciana Shemu. Esperance Shemu. Jeremy Shemu. Famille Shoni. Famille Shoni. Masigabona Shoni. Tuzahora tubibuka.
Reka dukomeze na famille Shoni. Harimo Nyakiza Shoni, Musa Shoni, Amani Shoni. Famille Kasa. Nyahoza Kasa, Ziraje Kasa, Jeannette, Yvonne Kasa, Bebe Kasa. Famille Bitati. Thomas Bitati, Eric Bitati, Dudu Bitati. Famille Zarot. Nyahoza Zarot, Bebe Zarot. Famille Kanyabitabo. Odia Kanyabitabo, Neza Kanyabitabo. Famille Musafiri Hoga. Chantal Musafiri Hog, Nyamugisha Hog, Patience Musafiri. Famille Gapingi. Nyabihogo Gaping, Claude Gaping, Gisele Gaping. Famille Musafiri. Lydia Musafiri, Samuel Musafiri. Famille Mandevu, Lea Mandevu, Muhorana Mandevu. Famille Butoto, Cheche Butoto, Kristo Butoto, Mupenzi Butoto. Famille Mahinga, Munezero Muhire, Nyabyinshi Muhire. Famille Mukwiye. Uzuya Gashindi Mukwiye, Dando Mukwiye, Risi Mukwiye, Daniel Mukwiye.
Kadukomeze na famille Gaturuturu. Zera Gaturuturu, Tantine Gaturuturu. Famille Mugabe Yohana, Nyabahinga Mugabe, Nyabirori Mugabe, Fie Mugabe, Bea Mugabe. Famille Rukungugu, Claude Nzabakiza Rukungugu, Nyagazurame Rukungugu, Muhumure Felix Rukungugu, harimo n'umwana w'uruhinja. Famille Sebahire, Murekatete Sebahire, Patrick Sebahire, Kadada Sebahire. Famille Muyengeza, Nyarukundo Muyengeza, Musore Muyengeza, Rusengo Muyengeza. Famille Maniragaba, harimo Bukuru Maniragaba, Ndayisenga Maniragaba, Ange Maniragaba. Famille Ntwari, Pauline Ntwari, Jeanne Ntwari. Famille Gishoma, Askof Gishoma, Munda Gishoma. Famille Biguge Rumanzi Fabien, harimo Biguge Fabien, Innocent Biguge, Didier Biguge. Famille Runezerwa, harimo Mukarurwiza Runezerwa, Bose Runezerwa, Biju Runezerwa. Famille Muvange Simon, harimo Munezero Muvange, Edouard Muvange.
Famille Maronko, Zera Maronko, Nyambo Maronko, Jeanne Maronko, Shatse Maronko. Famille Seru Garukira, Antoine, Nabitanga Seru Garukira, Nyantebuka Seru Garukira. Famille Runagana, Manase Runagana, Gatarena Runagana, Mukobwa Runagana. Famille Gasunguno, Tonia Gasunguno, David Gasunguno. Famille Nyasi, Inyas Bwana, Emmanuel Nyasi, Daniel Nyasi. Famille Kalala, Nakiza Nezia Kalala, Gwabi Kalala. Famille Ngirabakunzi, Nyagakobwa Ngirabakunzi, Bebe Ngirabakunzi. Famille Gasore Bunana, Gasore Bunana, Mukunde Gasore. one person per family category. Famille Munyakuri, Deborah Mukobwa Jana Munyakuri. Famille Rugeza, Jeannette Murora Isaac. Famille Ndagiro, Odia Ndagiro. Famille Gahakanyi, Mado Gahakanyi. Famille Gafita, Nyamubyeyi Gafita. Famille Zuzi, Nyamunezero Zuzi. Famille Ruganza, Kajeyi Ruganza. Famille Muzuri, Ndayishimiye Muzuri. Famille Rushaga, Nyamajana Rushaga. Famille Rugabo, Nyangole Rugabo. Famille Kazingo, Bizimana Kazingo. Famille Seruhungu, Nyamatungo Seruhungu. Famille Maria, Sifa Maria. Famille Ndakanirwa, Andre Ndakanirwa. Famille Rushemuka, Ngombe Rushemuka. Famille Nzungu Michel Nzungu. Famille Rusekeza, Ikwere Rusekeza. Famille Nyantonesha, Nyantonesha. Famille Ruhumuriza, Nyakirindo Ruhumuriza. Famille Binyonyo, Afande Binyonyo. Famille Semuhoza, Chisekedi, Rwigema Semuhoza. Famille Ndasarara, Mugiraneza Ndasarara. Famille Rwibagiza, Espoir Rwibagiza. Famille Michel, Muroronkweri, Michel Zikama. Famille Semugazanya, Nitanga Semugazanya. Famille Sekabumba, Rodrigue Niyankuru. Muri abo bapfuye harimo ababembe nabo mwabumvishije, katubabwira amazina yabo. Famille Nyampamba, harimo Sadi Nyampamba, harimo Bahati Nyampamba. Famille Lulinda, Abwe Paul Lulinda, Delphine Biamonea. Famille Batubula, Regine Batubula. Famille Aochi, Léon Aochi. Famille Bokeo, Asukulu Bokele. Famille Mbelechi, Echa Mbelechi. Famille Walukele, Lukele Walukele. Famille Mambo, Angalisho Mambo. Famille Sumaili, Evariste Sumaili. Famille Kiza, Jeannette Kiza. Famille Wisumbelo, Isumbelo Wisumbelo. Famille Ndalo, Namirenge Ndalo. Abandi babiri tibamenyekanye, bishobora kuba barahiye, tibamenye.
Barakoze cyane.
Thank you so much.
Namwe mwarimo mutegera murakoze.
And those that were also listening, thank you.
Kandi dukomeje kubihanganisha.
And we continue to tell you to stay strong.
Tugiye kumva ijambo ry'umushyitsi.
We're going to hear from a guest.
Dufite intumwa twababwiye kare.
We've got people that we invited that we spoke of earlier.
Councillor Steve aravuga mwanya wa Madam Mayor Lara.
Councillor Steve is going to speak in place of Mayor Lara.
Yaje amuhagarariye.
He's here in place of her.
Araza gutambuka.
He's going to come up front
kugira ngo tugeze ijambo ryiwe.
so that he can speak to us what he's prepared.
Uri buze kumufasha.
And the person that's going to help them.
Barakoze President Claude.
Thank you so much, President Claude.
Thank you very much.
Murakoze cyane.
Thank you for inviting me today to gather with you.
Mwakoze kuntumira kugira ngo tubane uyu munsi.
To remember the victims.
Kugira ngo twibuke izi nzirakarengane.
Of the Gatumba massacre.
Za Gatumba.
And to honor the survivors, families and communities.
Kandi duhesha agaciro abarokotse ndetse n'umuryango mugari.
Who continue to carry the weight of that tragedy.
dukomeje kwitwara no kwitwararika ibyabaye.
I wanted to begin by acknowledging that we're gathered on the traditional lands of the Kulin nations and pay my respects to elders past and present.
Ndagira ngo twibuke yuko duteraniye hano ku butaka bw'abasangabutaka abo twahasanze, twibuka abitabye n'abakiriho tubihaye agaciro.
I want to acknowledge my councillor colleagues, Councillor Julie Shannon,
Ndagira ngo mbereke abo twagendanye, Councillor Julie,
Councillor Bob Turner,
ndetse na Councillor Bob Turner,
Steve McGee, State Member for Melton,
Steve Maggie, umudepite wa hano muri Melton,
and Broden Borg, a candidate for the state seat of Melton.
ndetse na Brighton, umukandida wa hano Melton n'ubundi.
President of the, Abanyamulenge Congolese Community of Australia, Zawadi Birori, and the members of the community.
Nyakubahwa umuhagarariye umuryango w'Abanyamulenge Zawadi ndetse n'umuryango w'Abanyamulenge mugari muteraniye hano.
Micah Migambi, victim survivor.
Mika Migambi warokotse.
And all distinguished guests, community leaders, families and friends of those who join us.
Ndetse namwe banyacyubahiro mwese mwateraniye hano uyu munsi.
Today is a day of reflection, remembrance and respect.
Uyu ni umunsi mu by'ukuri wo gutekereza ndetse no kwibuka ibyabaye.
22 years has passed since the events of Gatumba, yet the loss experienced by so many remains felt deeply.
Imyaka 22 irashize twibuka inzirakarengane y'ibyabaye, kandi mu by'ukuri uko kwibuka bikora kuri buri wese.
For the Abanyamulenge community, this is not only a historical event.
Kuri twebwe Abanyamulenge rero uyu ntabwo ari umunsi wo kwibuka gusa amateka y'ibyabaye.
It is a personal and collective memory.
Ahubwo ni ibintu bidukoraho kandi twahora twibuka.
That continues to shape lives, families and generations.
Ni ibintu bidukoraho ndetse n'abadukomokaho kuko byatugizeho amateka akomeye.
As we come together in remembrance,
rero ubwo twaje twese duhuriye hano no kwibuka,
we acknowledge the lives that were lost.
Ndagira ngo twibuke kandi tuzirikane abacu badusize.
The suffering that was endured.
Imibabaro yabagezeho.
And the courage of those who have continued to move forward despite profound hardship.
Kandi tuzirikana abarokose namwe mwese uburyo mukomeje kwitwara nubwo amateka mu by'ukuri mwanyuzemo yarababaje.
One of the great strengths of Australia is that people from many cultures, backgrounds and experience can come together.
Kimwe mu bigize ubwiza bwa Australia nuko Australia ari igihugu kigizwe n'abantu bava mu moko n'indimi zitandukanye, ibyo bigira ubwiza bwa kino gihugu.
Build new lives.
Kugira ngo twongere twibuke twiyubake ejo hazaza.
But importantly, still maintain strong connections to their heritage.
Ariko icy'ingenzi gikuru ni ukudatakaza uriwe, ni ukudatakaza amateka yaho ukomoka.
And their history.
Kandi n'amateka yawe.
Events such as this provide an important opportunity to share those stories.
Rero iyo duhuriye hamwe nk'uku ni igihe cyiza cyo kongera guhana ayo makuru.
Preserve memories.
Kugira ngo twibuke aho twavuye.
And ensure that the experiences of affected communities are not forgotten.
Kandi twibuka ayo mateka akomeje kudukoraho twe kwibagirwa.
While today is marked by sadness, it is also a testament to resilience.
Rero nubwo uyu munsi mu by'ukuri turimo dusa n'abavuga ibintu bibabaje, ariko kandi dushubije amaso inyuma ni ibidukomeza bidushoboza gusunika imbere.
The continued strength of the Abanyamulenge community
ni ibigaragaza imbaraga mufite ubu ngubu nubwo amateka anyasa n'ababaye.
Both here and around the world is evident in your commitment to honoring those that have lost.
Si hano gusa ndetse n'aho ubwoko bwose buri mugaragaza yuko ari abantu bibuka ariko kandi badaheranywe inyuma n'amateka.
As we continue the victims, as we remember the victims of Gatumba, we also reaffirm our shared commitment.
rero nubwo turimo twibuka abadusize mu Gatumba, ibi ni ibihamya yuko turi hano kandi twifatanyije namwe
to peace,
kugira ngo twubake ubumwe n'amahoro,
human dignity,
indangagaciro z'ubumuntu,
mutual respect,
kandi mu bworoherane no kumvikana,
and the value of every human life.
kandi dushishikaza no kugaragaza indangagaciro za kimuntu.
There is no place for hatred or violence based on ethnicity, culture, or background.
Ubwicanyi ndetse n'ivangura ndetse no kutuba kiremwa muntu nta mwanya bigomba guhabwa hano.
And there is no community that should have to live in fear because of their identity.
Kandi nta bantu bagomba kubaho bari mu bwoba kubera abo bari bo.
And these are principles that matter everywhere.
Rero hari amahame agomba kugenderwaho ahantu ahariho hose.
To the members of the Abanyamulenge community here today,
rero uyu munsi twibuka umuryango w'Abanyamulenge uyu munsi,
I acknowledge your strength,
ndaha agaciro cyane imbaraga mufite,
and offer my deepest condolences and respect all of those that were affected by the massacre, and remember all the lives that are lost. We honor them.
Kandi mbaha pole cyane abarokotse ndetse n'umuryango mugari vuga ngo turi kumwe.
I thank you for bringing together this important commemoration.
Ndagira ngo nshimire abagize uruhare mu gutegura uyu muhango mwiza,
and for the opportunity to stand with you today in remembrance.
Kandi n'umwanya mwampaye kugira ngo nifatanye namwe.
On behalf of our Mayor, Councillor Lara Kali,
rero mu rwego rwa meya w'uyu mujyi,
our Deputy Mayor, Philip Zada,
na Deputy Mayor Philip Zara,
and all councillors,
n'abandi ba councillors bose bakora hano muri iyi meri,
we stand with you,
turi kumwe namwe,
we honor you,
kandi tubahaye agaciro,
and we say may God bless you.
Kandi turavuze ngo Imana ibahe umugisha.
Thank you.
Murakoze.
Arakoze intumwa ya meya.
Thank you so much.
Stephen arakoze cyane ku ijambo ryiwe.
Thank you so much, Stephen, for your word
no kuza kutwihanganisha.
and coming to condolence us.
Mbere yuko twumva MP Stephen,
Before we hear from MP Stephen,
turagira ngo buri wese ahaguruke.
would like to ask everyone to stand up
Dufata umunota umwe,
and for us to take a minute
tekereze,
to think
twibuke
and to remember
bari abantu bose mwumvishe basomye,
the list of everyone they've read
n'abandi bavuze baguye hatandukanye batabashije gusoma.
and other people that they didn't read that died in different places.
Reka dufate uwo munota tubibuke.
Let's take a minute to remember.
Murakoze cyane.
Thank you so much. You may be seated.
Tugiye kwakira MP Stephen.
We're going to welcome MP Stephen.
Atambuka tugeze ijambo ryiwe.
Please come up front
Ijambo ry'ihumure yateguye.
and speak to us of what you've prepared.
Karibu.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me to such an important event today, the Gatumba commemoration.
Mwakoze ku butumire bwanyu no kubana namwe muri uyu muhango wa Gatumba.
I would start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land and pay my respects to their elders past and present.
Ndagira ngo ntangire bamenyesha yuko duteraniye hano ku butaka bw'abasangwa bw'abangira igihugu, baha agaciro abariho n'abatakiriho kandi tuzirikana uruhare rwabo mu kubaka kino gihugu.
And I would express to you that the Gatumba massacre was probably not a great deal different to what happened to our First Nations people over 200 years ago.
Nkuko nabibonye ndetse nakomeje no gusoma amateka, nasanze yuko ibyagiye bikorerwa Abanyamulenge no kugeza igihe habayeho ubwicanyi budasanzwe mu Gatumba nabishanishije cyane n'ibyagiye biba kuri aba bantu ba nyiri igihugu cyangwa se abo bitwita aba Aboriginal amateka yaho.
I'd like to acknowledge our guest here today. Obviously, our councillor, Steve Abushi, has just spoken beautifully. So I thank you, Steve, for those kind words. It's amazing what you've said, and thank you for being here. To Julie Shannon and to Bob Turner, our councillors that are our leaders in our community.
Ndagira ngo shimire cyane aba bayobozi binomeri hano Melton, ari Steve urangije kuvuga na Julie ndetse na mugenzi we kuba baje bakifatanya n'abaturage, aba n'abaturage banyu kandi ni ingenzi kuba tubafite muri uyu muhango. Mwakoze cyane.
To our president and to our leaders.
Ku bayobozi bacu ba community ndetse n'abandi bayobozi muteraniye hano.
I thank you for gathering the community here today to, let's call it a commemoration but a celebration to some degree.
Reka mbashimire kuba mwateguye mu by'ukuri uyu muhango mwiza. Ku ruhande rumwe ni umuhango usa naho ubabaje w'agahinda, ariko ku rundi ruhande ni umuhango w'imbaraga kubera ko iyo duteranye turibuka.
I should say that, and Councillor Abushi had already mentioned it, but there is no place for hatred against any community. Doesn't matter where it is in the world. We are all human beings. We should all be treated the same.
Nk'uko mugenzi wanje wambanjirije yabikomojeho, mu by'ukuri kino kinyejana turimo nta bwoko bwakagombye cyangwa se abantu bakagombye kuba bicwa cyangwa se bagaragazwa aho bafitiwe urwango rudasanzwe muri kino kinyejana. Ntaho byakagombye kuba bigikorwa muri kino kinyejana.
I think it's important that you continue these commemorations each year to continue the history of this massacre for the younger generation to know what had occurred.
Rero ni byiza mu by'ukuri kandi mbebashimira yuko buri mwaka mugerageza kuza kugira ngo mwibuke. Iyo mwibuka rero muba murimo mubwira ikinyejana kindi gikurikira kwibuka ntibibagirwe amateka y'ibyabakorewe.
I want to extend my condolences to the community.
Ndagira ngo rero bashimire mu by'ukuri abantu bo muri community.
I also want to extend my support as much as myself as a local state member of parliament.
Kandi nk'umwe mu ntumwa za rubanda uri hano ndagira ngo mbizeze ubufatanye bwanjye, nzabafasha ibishoboka byose.
But I'm also from the state government and the support of the state government, and I know that the council are the same in supporting our local communities.
Kandi mu by'ukuri nzagerageza nabishishikarize abandi dukorana mu rwego rwa state, kandi kuko turi kumwe n'abantu bo muri meri hano, ibi ni ibigaragaza yuko tuzagerageza twumvisha amateka kandi tuzagerageza dufatanye mu kurwanya aka karengane.
I know the pastor said that home is home, Congo is home.
Hari umupasiteri cyangwa se umutangabuhamya wagiye avuga yuko yego turi hano ni igihugu cyacu, ariko kandi dufite n'igihugu, kandi Congo ni igihugu cyacu. Nibyo.
And I know Melton could be never like home, but let me say this is your second home and you are most welcome.
Ndabizi neza yuko hano Melton dutuye muri Melbourne nacyo ni igihugu cyanyu, ariko mwibuke yuko iki ni igihugu cyanyu cya kabiri mufite iwanyu.
And I know that your community contributes so much to the broader community of Melton, Victoria and Australia. And it is an honour to have you as part of our community.
Ndabizi neza yuko muri abagaciro kubagira hano muri Australia, kubagira hano muri Melbourne ndetse na Melton. Ndabizi neza yuko mufite ibikorwa by'iterambere mufasha abandi banyagihugu. Ni byiza kubera ko tubizi, turabizirikana kandi mugira neza muri abagaciro.
And I know today's commemoration for some, if not all, is very difficult to deal with. When you see those names and the ages of the people that were murdered.
Ndabizi neza yuko uyu muhango bisa naho biremereye kuba twasoma aya mazina, kuba twakumva aya makuru yose twumvishije, ni ibintu biremereye.
I just want to extend all my thoughts and sincere thoughts to you. I hope you take care and look after each other. And if there's any support that the state government or the council or the federal government can provide, please, through your leaders of your community, ask for it and seek support from us.
ndabizi neza yuko mu by'ukuri kumva aya mateka ni ibintu biba biremereye umutima, biba biremereye ubwenge. Rero ndagira ngo mbizeze yuko hano dutuye, haba muri state yacu, haba muri meri turimo ya Melton, hari ubufasha. Ndagira ngo mbasabe rero, niba wumva hari guhungabana ufite, niba wumva hari support waba ukeneye, wegera abayobozi banyu babitugezeho, natwe tuzagerageza gukora ibishoboka.
And I know the Gatumba massacre that happened 22 years ago.
Ndabizi neza yuko buno bwicanyi bwabaye imyaka 22 ishize.
While that was a tragedy, we're seeing more tragedies still happening today.
Nubwo rero Gatumba habaye mu by'ukuri ubwicanyi bw'indangakamere, ntabwo bwarangiriye mu Gatumba gusa, ahubwo n'uyu munsi turacyarimo tubona ihohoterwa umunsi ku wundi rigikorerwa Abanyamulenge.
And through commemorations like today and the continued commemorations and the learnings out of today.
Rero mu gihe turimo twibuka Abanyagatumba ndetse n'abandi barimo bicwa uyu munsi, iyo duhuriye hano rero ni ukwibuka, ariko kandi turimo twibaka twibaza ngo na ryari.
It is important for countries like Australia and other major powers to stop these massacres around the world. It is so important that we need to stop these things occurring.
Ni ngombwa rero kwibuka yuko turi mu gihugu cyiza nka Australia kandi gifite ijwi rinini mu mahanga, ndetse no kwifatanya n'andi mahanga nayo afite ijwi rinini kugira ngo turwanye buno bwicanyi burimo bubakorerwa.
And just in conclusion, I just want to again extend my condolences to the community and also extend any support that you require. But I want to also extend our greatest thanks for you being a great portion and contribution to our community here in Melton, Victoria and Australia. And I wish everyone well. So thank you for having me.
Ndangiza rero ndagira mu by'ukuri mbashimire kandi mbaha pole, bashimire ko mwantumiye, ariko kandi mbamenyesha yuko uruhare rwanyu mu kubaka kino gihugu turimo cya Australia, mu kubaka uyu mujyi wanyu murimo turarubona, kandi mwarakoze kuba rero mubikora mwarahuye n'amateka ngana kuriya, ni ibintu duha agaciro cyane. Ndabizeza rero ubufatanye bwacu muzatwegere kandi tuzafatanye. Murakoze, mwagize neza kuntumira.
Arakoze MP.
Thank you, MP.
Arakoze kutwihanganisha.
Thank you so much for your condolences.
Umunsi w'ikiriyo nayo magambo tugomba kumva.
A day of a funeral, that's the words we're meant to hear.
Kugira ngo abantu babashe gukomera.
So that we can stay strong.
Kandi ko turi kumwe.
And hear that we're together.
Twakeneye ubufasha cyangwa se duhumuriza
when we need help. Oh, it's good to hear that we have people that are there to listen to us. Because of a short time, we're going to ask all the federal members to come together. And once they conclude, we're going to ask the leaders of states.
Sorry, BCCA.
BCCA.
Federal now executive.
When we say federal, we mean executives.
Yes. So
that we can take a photo of remembrance. And leaders of other communities. So that it stays in our records. So that if one has to leave early, so that we have concluded all the... We're going to ask from the MP and all the others to come up front. And to also come up front, the BCC leader. And our special guest of the day,
Jean-Paul.
For him to also come. I believe he also needs the remembrance picture.
Twihute umuyobozi wa board nawe atambuke.
We would also ask the
ndetse n'aba members ba board barimo baze.
And all the other members.
Umuyobozi wa community y'Abanyarwanda Olivier.
People from the someone from the Rwandese community.
Barakoze.
Thank you so much.
Nibajije ko twari twahamagaye n'abayobozi b'amastate ariko basigaye bicaye turaza gushaka undi mwanya nyuma
I had
nuboneka.
also asked for the state leaders to also come.
Nabonye bose basigaye bicaye.
I noticed that all of them remain seated.
Ariko turaza gushaka kandi kanya.
But we may try to find another time.
Rero turakomeje na gahunda.
We're going to keep on with that program.
Turashaka kugendana n'amasaha.
We want to go with time.
Undi mutangabuhamya.
We have another witness.
Wacitse ku icumu ryo mu Gatumba.
A survivor.
Bakunzi Innocent.
Bakunzi Innocent.
Nawe yatambuka akaduha ubundi buhamya.
We are going to ask him to come and give his account.
Murakoze kumpa ijambo.
Thanks for giving me a word.
Nukugira gusa ngo nongere kuzo musaza yavuze.
It's just so that I add to what they've said.
Ijambo rya mbere ndahereza ubwoko bw'Abanyamulenge bwose pole.
First and foremost, I'd like to give my condolences to the Abanyamulenge community at large.
Tumaze ibihe birebire byinshi cyane bitabarika.
There's been a generation that we can't count of.
Turi mu byago byo gupfa kandi tugwa mu gihugu cyacu.
Experiencing killings when we're in our country.
Kugeza ibi byabaye 2004 twari tuvuga no kugeza n'uno munsi twari tuvuga
To the time where the massacre happened in Gatumba and also up to today.
Rero niyo mpamvu mbanje mvuga ngo pole cyane ku bwoko bwacu.
And that's why I started with condolences first.
Ndavuga umwanya muto nsigaje iminota ndayibara ikoreshe neza kuko navuze ngo nukongera kubyo bavuye kuvuga.
I'm going to speak a short time because I'm only adding on to what has been said.
Jewe nari mu nkambi ndani.
I was inside the camp.
Ibyabaye byose narabibonye.
Everything that happened, I saw it.
Nari mukuru sinari mutoya.
I was not young, I was old.
Wapfuye ku mugoroba batangiye kuturasa ari saa 4.
They started the shootings at 10 p.m.
Bazanye ibikoresho byose bibaho tutari twumva.
They bought all different kinds of tools and the ones that we had never heard of.
Ko babivuze inkambi zacu Abanyamulenge twari turimo bazitandukanyije ibara cyangwa irangi kala n'izindi nkambi zari zisanzwe zirimo zivanzemwo abarundi n'abandi bantu.
Like they've said before, the tents that we used to reside in, the Abanyamulenge people, had different colors from other people.
tuhagera turi mu bantu bahunze nahunze ku munsi wa gatatu twatangiye guhunga ibuvira ndavyibuka ari ku munsi w'anakazi rimwe ari ku wa mbere.
We started escaping on Monday.
Harabahunze ku wa mbere abandi bahunga na kabiri.
There's people that escaped on Monday and Wednesday as well.
N'umuryango wanje twari turi kumwe n'abanaga n'umuryango wa data wacu.
I was living with my uncle.
Dusanga inkambi nkeya nizo zari ziraho zisa n'izari nkeya twahitiyemo izindi bagiye bazubaka nyuma uko abantu bagenda baza.
We found a few camps that were available and others were built as people came.
Ariko ngo bazubaka bitandukanye nuko ziriya zindi zisa.
But when they built the tents, they were made different to others.
Igihe kiragera umunsi nyirizina umunsi abantu bapfa.
There was time and the day spoken of came.
Habaye ku mugoroba.
It became in the afternoon.
Hari ahantu heza cyane mu Gatumba hari ahantu imbere abantu basengeraga naho abantu bakunda gukinira imipira.
It was a beautiful place. There was a church and there was also a ground to play.
Hari ukuntu abana bakinaga bakageza saa moya saa mbiri za nijoro bakinira hafi aho.
There were times kids played up to 8 p.m. at night.
Amadushe n'amatoilette twogeragamo zari bisa n'ibyitaruyeho twari turi ku nkambi hari umwanya mutoya ku ruhande.
The bathrooms and showers were kind of separated on the side.
Kuriya muzehe yabivuze hari abantu bagiye koga noneho bagira ubwoba baragaruka.
Like our father has said before, the people that went to shower and got scared and didn't shower anymore.
Abantu baraho hari ukuntu bagiye babona ishusho z'abantu bameze nk'abasoda bafite imbunda bambaye imyenda ya gisirikare bamwe tibabyitaho tugira ngo none n'abasirikari basanzwe baraho.
So people were seeing soldiers with guns and they thought that it was normal soldiers that were there.
Twahoraga duterwa noneho bakaza kwimbunde bakarasa barasa abantu bashaka gusa n'abaje guhunga bakaza bakatubwira ati mwebwe nimuzoza muhunga amasasa zabafata muzafa.
So normally they would attack, but every time they attacked, they told us to stay still and not try to run because if we do, we're going to get killed.
Muzoza mwumva amasasu muzoza muryama.
So when you hear gunshots, sleep.
Baturasha guheresho gihe abantu benshi bari bakicishaye jewe nari ntandukanye n'abacu bavandimwe bamwe bafuye muri aba bagiye basoma muri liste twari ko dusenga hahandi ho gusengera kugeza saa 4 zuzuye ubwo twatandukanye turaza twinjira amashitingi yacu nari ndyamye nari ntaranapfukama ngo nyororose nari maze kwikaza ngiye kuryama twumva amasasa aravuze.
When the shooting had started, I just separated with my friends that we had went to church together. And when the shooting started, I had just went to sleep. I hadn't fallen asleep yet.
Baturashishije amasasu y'imbunde nini n'intoya.
The shootings were varying from small to large guns.
Abantu bose bararyama bazi ngo wenda ni amasasa asanzwe.
So people kept sleeping because they thought it was the normal bullets.
Muri kwa kuryama babanje kurasa basa n'abatinya kwinjira neza mu nkambi.
So at first they shot very far from the campsite.
Ngo bumve ntaba basubije bagiraga ngo wenda hari umuntu urimo wenda ufite ibikoresho sinzi kuba batekereza.
So when they didn't hear an answer, they thought that they were going to get answered back and shot back at. So when they didn't get the answer they wanted,
baraza baratwinjirana neza gutya mu
so
miryango
they got closer to us and came inside the tent.
Inkambi zari zubatse gutya umuryango usohoka mu shitingi wari umuryango umwe niwo mwasohokagamo musohoka cange mwinjira.
So the tents were built in a way that it only had one exit though, so it was the exit and the entrance as well.
Kandi shitingi imwe yabaga irimo nk'imiryango 3 cange 4 kugeza kuri 5.
And one tent hosted up to 4 families.
None ngo baje kuturasa baturuka mu miryango kwa kundi hajya mu exit yose.
So when they started shooting, they stood at all exits and entrances.
Mwanya wanje urashize ariko baraturashe bagezaho batangira gutera za grenade akinjira gatera grenade bahagaze hejuru.
So they started shooting and also throwing grenades.
Ndibuka nk'umuryango wa Fande Kasa yari umusirikari kwera muri Kongo ariko umuryango we bari wahunze uri hariya.
I remember one man, he was a soldier and he was with his family.
Uko bari baryamye umugore n'abana bose uko bari baryamye bose nta muntu n'umwe wabyuse.
They were sleeping with his wife and all the kids and no one managed to survive.
Abantu bamaze gupfa bararasa amasasa arabashirana.
So they shot until they ran out of bullets.
bavoma baja kuvoma station baja kuzana essence ku mastation.
And after that, they went to get petrol at the station.
Batangira kumena ku mashitingi.
And they started pouring it on the tents.
Bafite amatoroshi bako bagenda bakonga bacana amatoroshi.
And they had torches with them, so they were lighting and looking where they were going.
Hari abantu benshi bapfuye.
A lot of people died.
Nyuma yuko amasasa ashize.
After they ran out of bullets.
Bazanye imbugita baratangira bagenda bashinja bicisha abantu imbugita.
They even went and got knives and machetes as well and stabbed and killed people that way.
Noneho uwo warashwe yatagize umugisha ngo asohoke hanze noneho shitingi gasha ikamugwaho.
So if you were short and unlucky to get out, you would burn inside the tent.
Ibintu byatubayeho ntawomenya ko bivuga.
The things that happened are, we can't have words to fully describe them. Many of the names that were read out, we buried lots of people without knowing their names. Someone would burn to the ashes and you are unable to recognize who they were. While I conclude, my people keep being strong. After this, killings happened after that and they're still happening. But let's build ourselves together and try and find answers so that what happened to us may never happen to us again. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Turamwihanganishije ndetse n'abandi twese dukomeze kwihangana komere cyane.
We give you our condolences and other people as well.
Abana twateguye cyangwa se bateguye gusoma nabo bahumuriza abantu berekana icyizere cy'ejo.
The kids that have been set to read or have read something or have witnessed something, we would like to ask the kids that have something to read.
Barasoma batanga icyizere cy'uko igiti iyo gitemwe cyongera kigashibuka.
They're going to read to prove that once a tree is cut, there's hope that it's going to grow back again. There's hope that they will change something. Please come up front. They're going to read.
Gatumba, remembrance, justice, and peace. We cannot bring back those we have lost, but those of us who remain will never stop speaking out against killings, hatred, and violence based on ethnic discrimination. We will continue to stand for our right to life, dignity, and security. Protecting ourselves and defending our lives is a path toward the peace, safety, and future our people deserve. We remember, we stand together, we seek justice, we choose peace.
The tree will sprout again. We remember our children of Gatumba taken while still young with dreams yet to unfold. Killed simply for how they were born, persecuted simply for who they were. Their blood will never be forgotten. Their voices will forever live within our hearts. Though the trees have been cut down, its roots are not dead. It will sprout again, it will grow, spread its branches, and bear fruit. For our sorrow, hope will rise. For our tears, strength will be born. We are here, we will live, and we will rise again. Gatumba, we will never forget.
Thank you.
Ibintu bibabaje cyane.
It's something that's sad.
Ariko kandi ntidugaheranwe n'agahinda. Tugaheranwe n'umubabaro.
But let's not keep the sadness within.
Hari icyizere kiri muri aba bana.
There's hope in this young generation
bazahindura byinshi.
that they will change a lot.
Reka dusabe umuyobozi uhagarariye abamama ba BCCA.
Let's ask the leader of BCCA Women's,
Betty, aze nawe atambutse ijambo ry'ihumure
to come and give her words of condolence.
mu bamama ba BCCA.
That's from BCCA Women's.
Banyakubahwa abayobozi bacu guturuka mu nzego zose zitandukanye, banyakubahwa bashitsi bacu, batumirwa bacu batwitabye, banyakubahwa baturutse mu yandi makominote duturanye y'abavandimwe dufitanye n'amateka agiye gusa. Kuvuga kuri uyu munsi bijya bitugora cyane kubera ko
today it's very hard
kubera ko tugira amateka ashaririye,
because our history is really sad.
Tugira amateka y'akarengane,
our history
tugira amateka y'akarengane y'indengakamere. Kuko mwumvishije abambere bamaze kubivuga hano,
as you heard people speaking here,
ijambo tukomeza gusubiramo twese ni rimwe.
Is the same word we are keep repeating ourselves here.
Turashaka ubutabera.
We need justice.
Abantu bacu barishwe.
Our people were killed.
Bicwa nabi.
They were killed in different ways and bad ways.
Bicwa bashinyagurirwa.
They were killed.
Biciwe mu maboko y'abari bashinzwe kubarinda.
And they were in the safe hand. People who had the power to protect them.
Kandi bicirwa mu gihugu cyabahaye ubuhungiro.
They were killed in the country which has received them to give them a shelter.
Murabizi ko iyo umuntu ahunze,
you know that if you are running somewhere,
aho ugeze hariho process, hariho paperwork zikorwa kugira ngo wemererwe gutura aha hantu.
Where you reached the country you have run into, there is a paperwork, the process for you to live in that country.
Abantu bacu bapfuye mu gihugu kirimo ubuyobozi.
Our people were killed under the government of that country.
Ahubwo bwa buyobozi bwa cya gihugu bugira uruhare wo kuduhegura.
And they are the one who had killed them.
Kandi ntibanabihisha, barabyivugira.
And they have announced that they are the one who has done it.
Ariko nta muntu wigeze agira ubushake bwo kugira ngo aduhe ubutabera.
But none of them stood on our side.
Ndagaruka gatoya kuri Gatumba.
I will speak a little bit about Gatumba.
Hari umubyeyi umwe ni mwene wacu.
There is this woman.
Yaburaga ukwezi kumwe ngo abyare.
She was about to deliver a baby.
Nkuko muzi abantu ba Gatumba bishwe batwitswe.
As you know, those people were killed, some were burned.
Ariko uwo mubyeyi for somehow bafite uko bamwishe kuko umurambo we wabonetse utahiye.
There is a way they have killed this woman because they didn't burn her.
Uwo mudamu baramwishe, barangije kumwica bamukorera ubundi ubugome, bamusatura mu nda. Ababyeyi barabyumva, yaburaga ukwezi kumwe gusa ngo yibaruke.
This woman was about to deliver just 1 month, so they had to cut her stomach. They can see the baby.
Turashaka justice.
We need justice.
Bashitsi bacu bakuru.
Our guest.
Umuntu wese ufite umutima w'umuntu.
Everyone who has a human heart.
Wumva afite icyo yakorera Abanyamulenge kugira ngo babone uruvugiro.
And you know that you can speak on behalf of Abanyamulenge.
Kugira ngo abantu batugiriye nabi bafatwe.
So for those people who killed Abanyamulenge, people can be captured.
Baryozwe ibyo bakoze.
So they can be judged.
Yabakoze.
Please speak up.
Ntituzigera duceceka kuvuga abantu bacu.
We will never stop to speak.
Tuzavuga kuzageza ubwo tuzabona ubutabera.
We will speak until we get justice.
Kandi neza tuzi neza ku munsi umwe tuzabibona.
And we hope and we know well there is a day we will get justice.
Kuri Gatumba gusa.
It didn't stop there.
Ejo bundi iwacu Kwibuka aho tuvuka mu Minembwe.
As you know, in Minembwe,
ababyeyi bacu barabyutse umunsi umwe baje gusenga Imana kuko mu biranga umuco wacu harimo gusenga.
Our parents wake up one day and they went to church. As you know, our couch are going to church.
Bageze ku kibuga cy'indege mu Minembwe babicira mu kibuga cy'indege hagati.
When they reached to the airport, they killed them into airport.
Nta wabakurikiranye.
No one has followed.
Kandi ni ku manywa y'ihangu.
And it was daytime.
Twaratatse.
We cried.
Tujya dutaka.
We do speak
ariko
loud.
ntituzi nimba voice y'umututsi wo muri Kongo itazayumvikana kimwe n'izindi voice.
But we're not sure if the voice of Munyamulenge or Tutsi goes far, so we don't know.
Jewe ubabwira hano.
Myself standing here.
Muri 2014.
2014.
Nafushije musaza wanje tuvukana kuri papa na mama.
Her brother were killed.
Afana n'umwana wa musaza wanje wundi mukuru.
He was killed with his nephew.
Afana n'umwana wa mukuru wanje tuvukana.
And a second nephew of his sister.
Uwabishe arafatwa.
And the person who has done it were taken.
Sindi busubire mu makuru y'ukuntu yafashwe kubera ko nazo ni izindi process ndende tutavugira hano ngo tuzirangize.
It took long time for him to be captured.
Aza kuburanishwa i Bukavu.
He went into Bukavu.
Ageze mu kuburana aravuga ngo ngewe nafashe umututsi w'umunyarwanda ugenda mu gihugu cya Kongo ndamufata ndamwica.
And he said himself that I got this Tutsi man who is just wandering in Congo and I killed him.
None ko barakondana ngo nakoze icyaha.
Then why are you judging me for me to kill this Munyamulenge?
Bashitsi bacu bakuru.
Our guest of honor.
Kwica umunyamurenge muri Kongo ni nko kwica ubusa. Nkaho ntacyo tuvuze.
A Munyamulenge to be killed in Congo is just to kill animal or just anything.
Bwarakeye baramufungura.
So the next day they let him go out.
Asubira n'ubundi gukomeza gukora ibikorwa yari asanzwe akora byo kwica abantu.
He went back to his normal daily business. And those who released him,
n'abalida bacu n'abayobozi bacu n'abayobozi b'igihugu cyacu.
They are those leaders or those in power.
We need justice.
We do need justice.
We need justice.
Turashaka ubutabera.
Hari umubyeyi w'umunyamurenge wagiye gushakira abana be ibiryo mu mirima ngira ngo murabyibuka.
You remember another woman who went to the farm to get food for his children.
Hari umuntu wavuze ngo hari ibintu bitajya bivugwa mu muco wacu.
As some said, there is something we don't mention in our tribe.
Ariko wenda kuba ngiye kubivuga siko ngiye gushira isoni.
But I want to say this, I am sorry.
Uwo mubyeyi baramwishe.
They killed this woman.
Barangije bamwambura ubusa.
And they strip her clothes off.
Umuntu w'umubyeyi baterera umurambo hariya wambaye ubusa.
And they left her on the road.
Batangira kuwukiniraho no kuwushinyagurira.
And they start abusing the dead body.
We need justice.
Turashaka ubutabera.
N'umuntu uwo ari we wese wagira icyo yadufasha.
If you could speak up.
Twarakomeretse bihagije.
We have wounded.
Kubera ko abantu bacu n'utarapfuye agenda na trauma y'ibidukorerwa.
Those who are not dead, they walk with the trauma of what has happened.
Abantu bacu bicishijwe inzara.
Our people have gone through starvation.
Nta muntu ushobora kumanuka ngo aje kugura umunyu wo gushira mu biryo kubera ko ari umunyamurenge.
People can't displace themselves to go even buy a salt to cook.
Ni ngombwa ko agomba gushaka umuntu wo mu wundi bwoko akaba ari ugenda.
They have to find the neighbors, the other tribe to take them to the market.
Kubera ko yemerewe kugenda.
Because they have a right to go wherever they want.
Ariko twebwe tukabuzwa ubwo burenganzira kandi twaravukiye muri Kongo ba data basogokuruza ni wacu.
And we don't have a right to go anywhere we want in Congo. And that Congo is our place where our ancestors born in there.
Turashaka ubutabera.
We need justice.
Tuzareka kuvuga.
We will never stop.
Bavandimwe banyamurenge bicaye hano.
Oh, Abanyamulenge who are here.
Mwihangane.
Be strong.
Batutsi muri rusange bo batuye muri Kongo.
Oh, Tutsi who lives in Congo.
Kuko nabo bafite amateka ameze nk'ayacu
They
nabo bajya
have
bicwa
a
nk'abacu.
story same as us.
Abantu bacu ushobora kwinjira muri bisi irimo abandi bantu.
Our people can go in the bus.
Bakayihagarika bagatoranyamwe abacu bagatoranyamo umututsi yaba umunyamurenge cyangwa wenda uwo muri Nord Kivu.
But they will stop that bus to look who is Tutsi in there, and they will take them and kill them.
Akicwa abandi bagakomeza urugendo.
They will take the Tutsi out of the bus, kill them, and they continue.
Ntakurikiranwa.
And no one will follow or to judge them.
Nta tegeko riri muhana.
And there is no law for them.
Turasaba ubutabera.
We need justice.
turasaba ubutabera.
We need justice.
Turasaba ubutabera mu bihugu byose, umuntu uwo ari we wese
We need
wumva ko hari
justice
input yashyiraho
everywhere.
kugira ngo dushobore kubona ubutabera bw'abantu bacu.
We need those who can speak for the voiceless so we
Murakoze
can get
cyane.
justice for our people.
Murakoze
Thank you
cyane.
so much.
Murakoze cyane ijwi ry'abamama ba BCCA
Thank you so much to the women's voice of BCCA,
kandi mukomeze kwihangana.
and keep being strong.
Reka dusabe abantu bafite amabuji
We're now going to ask people that
nk'ikimenyetso
have the
cy'icyizere
candles as a sign and a belief
kugira ngo bayacane bayazane.
to light them and bring them,
kugira ngo tuze kwakira ijambo rya perezida wa BCCA
and after we're going to hear from the president of BCCA,
ari buze no kutwakirira umushyitsi mukuru
and he's also going to welcome the special guest for us
kugira ngo aze kutugezaho ijambo ryiwe.
so that he can give out his word as well.
Murumva ko turi hafi kugana ku musozo.
You can hear that we're ending to the conclusion.
Tugira dusaba abantu bose baze gutuza
So we would like everyone to stay
kugira ngo muze
still
kumva ijambo ry'umuyobozi ndetse n'ijambo ry'umutumirwa wacu.
so that we can hear from our president and the one we invited as well.
Nusabe kugira ngo ntihagire umuntu ugenda
It's a
atumvise
request that no one might leave
ijambo ry'umutumirwa wacu.
so that we can hear from our special guest.
Turasaba ko banyarutsa batanga amabuji
We
banyarutse
would
rwose.
ask for them to try and speed up so that we can give out the candles.
umwanza gucira ko imana igucira
Tura nawe warahumiwe miana yawe n'amakarisa yawe yahawe inkongi ababyeyi bikorezwa amaboko icyo twifuza Gatumba ora hoza amaraso ikamena mana arataka
Reka abantu batange amabuji batuje.
Let's ask for people to hand out
Dusaba
the
abantu
candles
bose
quietly.
abantu bose guhaguruka.
To ask also everyone to stand up
Dusabe kuzimya amatara asanzwe
and ask if it's possible to turn off the lights
hasigare urumuri rw'amabuji
and only the candles to be the only lighting
nk'ikimenyetso cy'umucyo mu mwijima.
as a sign of light in darkness.
Ahari umwijima
Where there's darkness,
haboneka urumuri arirwo twebwe twasigaye.
there's lighting as us that have survived.
Tugomba hindura byinshi.
to change a lot.
Turasaba perezida kugira ngo atambuke
Would ask the president to come,
ndetse n'abafite amabuji bose baze bayapange hano imbere.
and those that have the candles to bring them all out front
Turimo turacunguza uburyo umwete.
while we try to save time.
Perezida wa BCCA,
While we ask the president of BCCA to come
umuyobozi
up,
wacu mukuru wa community y'Abanyamulenge muri Australia,
our leader in Australia,
araza kutwakirira umushitsi mukuru ari nawe mutumirwa
he's
uvuye
going
hanze ya
to
Australia
welcome the special guest that's from overseas
kugira ngo aze gufata ijambo ryiwe.
to take his word.
Turaza kubabwira ibiza
We're
gukurikira.
going to tell you what follows.
Reka mbasabe mwike hasi.
Let me ask you to be seated. Thank you.
Murakoze.
Thank you so much.
Byangoye kuvuga ngo twihangane.
It's been difficult for me to stay strong
kubera ko abatwishe mu myaka irenze 22 na mbere yaho
because the perpetrators of the killings 22 years ago and even up to now,
n'ubu barimo baratwica tuha tuvuga aya masaha abari iwacu.
up to now, even this moment and second, the killings are still ongoing back home.
N'abandi babyivugiye
And others that have spoken out
bakora mu nzego z'ibyo bihugu.
that work in different sectors of that country.
Barashaka no kuyobora ibihugu byabo.
And they want to lead their country.
Abo ni abisha abantu
Those are the perpetrators
tuha tuvuga uyu munsi.
that we're speaking of today.
Kuvuga ngo ubwire umuntu wiciwe ngo komera aza ayo mateka, kubwira ngo ubwire umuntu wiciwe
If you're telling someone that has had their own killed,
unakomere,
to tell them to stay strong,
ni ikizamini gikomeye.
it's a very big exam.
Ariko ndabasaba dukomere.
But I'm asking you and us to stay strong.
Nkuko babivuze Abanyamulenge bose ni abacikacumu.
Like they've said, all Banyamulenge people are survivors.
I personally, jewe ubwanje,
I personally,
mashusho yagaragaye y'abapfuye
some of the images that were shown of the people that died
Gatumba,
in Gatumba,
harimwo bankona kazini direct bagera ku 10.
there were my direct cousins and uncles, total of 10.
10. Umba sinari mu Gatumba,
I was not in Gatumba,
ariko iyo nje kuhaba naje mba narapfuye.
but if I would have been there, I would have also died.
Niyegereje abashitsi bacu,
I welcome our guests,
abavuye abakansela,
our councillors,
member of the parliament,
a member of parliament,
Melton.
Welcome.
Thank you for coming.
Bakoze kuza.
Bitwereka icyizere.
It shows us trust.
Ufite umushitsi mukuru,
We have a special guest
ufite byinshi kuturusha.
that has more knowledge than we do.
Ndibuze kumuheza umwanya,
I'm going to give them time,
ariko ndabanza mvugeho gatoya.
but I would like to take some time to also speak
Uyu
only
munsi
for a
turi
little
mu
bit.
mubabaro wo kwibuka,
Today we are in a day of sorrow and remembering,
guha agaciro abacu,
giving
guha agaciro
value to our people
bishwe
that were killed
imyaka 20 ishize n'ibiri.
22 years ago.
ababyeyi
Our parents,
abana
kids
bazize uko baremwe
that died only because of how they looked.
turibuka bagendeye mu Gatumba
We remember those that passed in Gatumba.
niho tuba tuvuga cyane
We're mostly speaking of them,
ariko hari abagendeye mu Bibogobogo
but the people that died in
hari
Bibogobogo,
abagendeye Kirumba
the people died in
hari
Kirumba,
abagendeye Kinshasa
the people that died in
hari abagendeye
Kinshasa,
Kisangani
the people that died in
hari
Kisangani,
abagendeye muri Byura
the people that died in
hari
Zura,
abagendeye mu Minembwe
the people that died in
hari
Minembwe,
abagendeye kuri Goma
the people that died in
hari
Goma,
abagendeye Kalima
the people that died in Kalima.
ni ukuvuga ngo ni muri Kongo hose
It's generalized
aho nta hari
Congo.
umunyamurenge wese
That was every place that had a Congolese person.
nubwo bimeze gutyo
Even if it's that way,
twebwe twasigaye
we were left, we survived.
twebwe tukiriho
We that are survivors,
dufite n'ijwi ryo kuvuga
that have a voice to speak.
ni uruhare rwa buri muntu wese
It's your responsibility
guceceka
to stay quiet,
kutabivuga
not speaking of it,
ni ugufatikanya n'abatwishe
is joining hands with the perpetrators.
niyo mpamvu
That is the reason
abana ku mashuri
kids at school
mubikoremwo nk'ama exam mubivuge
do it as exams and speak up.
mu tuzi tubamo
Your normal work,
tubivuge
speak up.
kubivuga
Speaking of it
ni ukubica ni ukubirangiza
is finishing it.
kubivuga
Speaking it
ni uguha agaciro abacu
is valuing our people.
kubivuga
Speaking up
ni ugushaka ubutabera
is seeking justice.
ico nico kizamini dutahanye uno munsi
That is an exam that you have
abantu batuye muri Australia
people that reside in
n'abandi
Australia
badutegera hanze ya Australia ku isi yose
and everyone that's listening to us outside Australia.
ico dusabwa ni ukubivuga
What we're required to is speaking up,
kandi mwarabivuze
and you've spoken up.
mu mezi abiri ashize twagiye Canberra
2 months ago, we went to Canberra.
ndizera ko bashobora ko barabibonye abayobozi bari hano
I think some have seen it.
twari twagiye kuvuga twagize Canberra amasaha abiri duhagaraza imbere ya parliament
We spent 2 hours in Canberra at the parliament
turayizinga awareness
raising awareness.
ntabwo ari ukuvuga ngo umuntu uririya ni ufite ikibazo
It's not that people that are back home are the only ones with problems.
ahubwo natwe niba mfite umuvandimwe ufite ikibazo uriya naje biranyafekta
If I have a brother back home, it affects me.
niyo mpamvu tuje hariya
That is what, if when we go there
mukabona turi smart mu bundi buryo
and you see that we look smart
ariko
in
indani
other
muri
ways,
twebwe
but within us,
hariho ibikomere
there are wounds
bisaba imbaraga zamwe
that needs your strength
kugira ngo tubashe gukemura kino kintu
so that we can resolve this.
kubera impamvu z'umwanya
Because of time,
dufite umushizi nk'uko nababwiye
we have a special guest like I've mentioned before.
Maître Shaka
Jean-Paul Shaka.
reka haguruke
Would I like to ask you to stand up
atambuka imbere
and come up here,
turi kumuheza umwanya
and we'll give them time.
ari mu bantu
He's among people
bahagaraze kurwanya ivangura
that is standing up to fight racism.
ari mu bantu
He's among people
bashoreye ikirego cyo kuturenganura
that's leading a crowd so that we can seek justice.
mutegere
Let's give him our ears.
duciye imbere bugufi kuba yaratwitabye
We thank him for agreeing to our invite
ukaba waraje kugira ngo tubane
so that you can be with us here.
ni inkomezi kuri buno bwoko wasanze hano
It's a strength to this community that you
duha
came
agaciro icyo
to.
mwakoze
We value
Mwakoze.
what you've done. Thank you.
I am extremely humbled to be here.
nshishijwe bugufi cyane no kuba hano
Mr. Chairman of BCCA,
umuyobozi wa BCCA
all the leaders,
ubuyobozi bwa board
through you, BCCA members,
binyuze muri mwebwe abanyamuryango ba BCCA.
I am thankful for the invitation.
Nshimishijwe cyane n'ubu butumire.
Since it's the first time in Australia,
Ubu ni inshuro yanjye ya mbere muri Australia.
I want to start by saying the acknowledgement.
Ndashaka kugira ngo nanjye mbanze nsome guha agaciro ba nyir'ubutaka.
I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today and pay my respect to elders, past, present, and emerging.
Ari uguha agaciro ba nyir'ubutaka batwakiriye, baba ari abatakiriho, abariho ndetse n'abazaza.
I saw there are government officials here with us.
Nabonye abayobozi mu nzego z'ubwite za leta bari kumwe natwe uyu munsi.
Distinguished guests,
abatumirwa batandukanye,
brothers and sisters, survivors,
bavandimwe namwe bashiki bacu bacitse ku icumu, miryango.
I also saw brothers and sisters from sister communities.
Ndetse nabonye n'abavandimwe baturuka mu miryango y'abavandimwe cyangwa se muri communities dufitanye aho duhurira.
I have addressed this type of gatherings before.
Nigeze kuvuga muri iri jambo muri ibiterane nk'ibi.
Remembering the killings of Tutsi Abanyamulenge in Gatumba.
Twibuka Abanyamulenge biciwe mu Gatumba.
Killings that some have described as genocidal.
Ubwicanyi dushobora gusobanura nka jenoside.
And in my opinion, that's right.
Kandi mu bitekerezo no mu bumenyi bwanjye ni ukuri ni jenoside.
It has always been a sobering moment for me.
Byabaye igihe cyose ibihe bigoye biremereye kuri njye.
And it's stark a reminder of destructive force of hatred braided through political propaganda.
Kandi byibutsa n'ubundi amagambo y'urwango ndetse na propaganda z'abanyapolitiki batandukanye.
And today,
munsi,
we remember the victims of these barbaric crimes by their names.
Turibuka inzirakarengane zishwe muri aka karengane nyine, tubibuka ndetse tuvuga n'amazina yabo.
Honor their lives because they mattered.
Tuzirikana ubuzima bwabo kuko bwari ubw'agaciro.
They matter to their families.
Bwari ubuzima bw'agaciro ku miryango bavukamo.
They matter to the community.
Bwari ubuzima bw'agaciro ndetse n'umuryango mugari.
And to all of us.
Ndetse no kuri twebwe muri rusange.
We remember them because every life lost represented dreams.
Impamvu tubibuka nuko buri buzima bw'umuntu bwatakaye bwapfuye bwasobanuraga icyizere cyangwa se ejo hazaza.
They represented hopes.
Byagaragazaga icyizere.
And a future that was tragically taken away.
Hanyuma ako kazoza rero karatwawe karangijwe n'abandi bantu.
We gather to acknowledge the suffering of our brothers and sisters who survived.
Duteranye kandi kugira ngo twifatanye tunazirikane akababaro n'agahinda k'abavandimwe barokose.
And to ensure that stories of those killed are not forgotten.
Ndetse no kugira ngo duhakikishe cyangwa twemeranywe ko ayo mateka mabi atazongera.
As we heard from the testimonies here,
nk'uko twabyumvise mu batangabuhamya batandukanye hano,
Gatumba was a makeshift camp housing Burundian refugees returning to their country.
Ahangaha hari impunzi n'ubundi hari haragenewe impunzi z'abanyaburundi bari barahunze mu bihe byatandukanye bagarukaga mu gihugu cyabo.
And members of the Abanyamulenge community who had recently fled the fighting in the DRC were housed in this place.
Hanyuma rero impunzi z'Abanyamulenge zari zitangiye guhunga n'ubundi karengane n'ubwicanyi bwarimo burakorwa muri Kongo bahabashe gucumbikirwa muri izo nkambi.
They were eagerly waiting to return home when fighting subsided.
Bari bategereje cyane n'amatsiko biteguye gusubizwa iwabo mu byabo igihe bumvaga ko intambara zishobora kuba zarangira mu gihugu cyabo.
August 13, 2004 was a normal day for them.
tariki ya 13 z'ukwa munani 2004 wari umunsi usanzwe kuri bo.
Children played in evening before bedtime.
Abana barakinaga ku mugoroba mbere yo kujya kuryama.
Choir members practiced for upcoming performances.
Bari mu myitozo cyangwa se mu marepetisiyo nk'uko bisanzwe.
Young people played football or soccer.
Abantu bato barakinaga umupira nk'ubuzima bwose bwa
And
buri
despite
munsi.
miserable conditions they faced as refugees, they were hopeful that they would return to their homes.
Hirengagijwe ubuzima bubi bari babayemo nk'impunzi, bari bafite icyizere ko mu gihe gito bashobora kuzasubira iwabo aho
The
baturutse.
children would go back to school
Ko abana bazasubira ku mashuri
and grow up to become someone.
ndetse bari bafite icyizere n'inzozi zo gukura bakazavamo abandi bantu.
Perhaps doctors
Maybe wenda bari kuzaba abaganga
or lawyers
cyangwa se abanyamategeko
or MPs.
cyangwa se abahagarariye rubanda mu mategeko muri leta.
Parents hope to see their children and grandchildren and perhaps their great-grandchildren.
Ababyeyi bumvaga bazabona abana babo, abuzukuru ndetse n'abuzukuruza.
These were ordinary dreams
Izi zari inzozi zabo bari bafite.
that all of us share in life.
Kandi ni inzozi twese dusangiye mu buzima.
During that fateful night,
Hanyuma rero muri iryo joro nyirizina,
in a few hours,
mu masaha make cyane,
those dreams were shattered
za nzozi zarapfundikiwe zose.
and the lives of more than 166
Hanyuma ubuzima bw'abasaga 166
were taken away.
bwaratikiye bwose.
More than 100 others were wounded.
Abarenga 100 barakomereka.
And I just remind you that
Kandi nagira ngo mbibutse ko
this camp
iyi nkambi
was
y'impunzi
guarded by Burundian armed forces
ndagira ngo mbibutse ko yari icungerewe cyangwa yari urindiwe umutekano n'ingabo z'u Burundi
with the presence of United Nations troops in the vicinity.
ndetse hari ingabo zihagarariye umuryango w'abibumbye.
And no one intervened.
Muri izo ngabo z'impande zose nta n'umwe wigeze haba ngo atabare.
After the massacre,
nyuma y'ubu bwicanyi,
head of states of countries member of African Union,
abayobozi b'ibihugu bihuriye mu muryango w'ibumbye wa Afurika,
members of the United Nations Security Council,
abayobozi bari bahagarariye Conseil de Sécurité cyangwa inama y'umutekano ya UN,
they all condemned the crimes.
Bose bamaganye ubu bwicanyi.
And they called for perpetrators to be brought to justice.
Ndetse bahamagarira ko abicanyi cyangwa bagize uruhare muri ubu bwicanyi bagezwa mu butabera.
Investigations by many organizations,
iperereza rikozwe n'imiryango itandukanye,
including United Nations, Human Rights Watch and others,
harimo umuryango w'abibumbye, Human Rights Watch ndetse n'abandi.
They concluded that killings were carried out by a coalition of armed groups.
Bose bemezanyije cyangwa bahurije ku ubwicanyi bwari buyobowe n'ihuriro ry'imitwe yitwaje intwaro,
including the Burundian FNL,
harimo umutwe w'abanyaburundi witwa FNL,
whose leaders claimed the responsibility for the massacre,
ndetse n'umuyobozi wari uyoboye uwo mutwe ubwe akaba yariyemereye ko uwo mutwe we ari wayoboye ubwo bwicanyi,
along with elements from the Democratic Republic of Congo armed forces.
Ndetse muri iyo mitwe yakoze ubwo bwicanyi hari harimo n'indi mitwe y'abanyekongo,
and the national armed forces
kandi
of the
n'ingabo
DRC,
z'igihugu za Kongo,
including some Congolese militias.
ndetse hari ingabo za Kongo ubwazo, hakaba n'izindi ngabo zitwaje intwaro cyangwa se inyeshyamba zo muri Kongo.
And these reports recommend that first, before the recommendation, these reports, they establish another fact.
Hanyuma iki cyegeranyo cyose cyari cyashyizwe ahagaragara,
that victims of the crimes
kivuga ko abarokotse ubu bwicanyi
were intentionally targeted because of their ethnicity,
bari bagenderewe kwicwa hagendewe cyane ko abari bo ubwoko bwabo.
One of these leaders,
umwe muri aba bayobozi b'iyi mitwe cyangwa se bagize
one of the
uruhare,
leaders of the countries who condemned the massacre,
umwe muri aba bayobozi bamaganye ubu bwicanyi
is the then South African president called Thabo Mbeki.
n'uwitwa Tabombeki wari uyoboye South Africa muri icyo
At the
gihe.
time, he was involved heavily in the peace process in the DRC.
Cyari igihe yari afite uruhare cyane mu kugarura amahoro mu gihugu cya Congo.
He called for the FNL
yahamagaye FNL
he called for FNL to be treated as a terrorist organization.
yahamagariye amahanga ndetse n'ibihugu ko FNL yabarwa cyangwa se yaba kalifiye nk'umutwe w'iterabwoba.
And for its leaders to be tried at the International Criminal Court.
Ndetse ko n'abari bayoboye uwo mutwe wa FNL bagezwa ku rukiko mpuzamahanga mpanabyaha.
And despite all these condemnations and reports,
hirengagijwe rero izi ripoti zatanzwe ndetse n'ibi birego byakozwe
for 22 years,
hashize imyaka 22
nothing has happened.
nta na kimwe kirakorwa.
The FNL leaders Agathon Rwasa and Habimana
abayobozi b'uwo mutwe wa FNL ari Agathon Habimana
have continued to live as free men in Burundi.
bakomeje kubaho nk'abantu bidegembya mu Burundi.
Survivors have tirelessly pursued elusive justice.
abarokotse jenoside ubwo bwicanyi bakomeje gutegereza,
along with other lawyers.
ndetse hamwe n'abunganizi b'abanyamategeko.
Lawyers from Burundi and the DRC.
abanyamategeko bakomoka i Burundi ndetse no muri Congo.
We filed cases.
twakoze icyegeranyo n'ikirego ndetse turagitanga.
In Burundi.
twagitanze ku butabera bw'u Burundi.
In the Democratic Republic of Congo.
twagitanze mu nzego z'ubutabera za Congo.
And in the International Criminal Court seated in The Hague.
ndetse twabitanze ku rukiko mpuzamahanga mpanabyaha.
Many years have passed.
hashize imyaka myinshi.
And no serious prosecution has commenced as of yet.
kandi nta kirakorwa kuri urwo rubanza.
The promise of accountability made by African Union and UN member states
amasezerano cyangwa se icyizere twahawe n'abayobozi ba UN cyangwa se n'ihuriro ry'ibihugu bya Afurika
remain unfulfilled to this day.
iryo sezerano batanze n'uyu munsi ntacyo bararikoraho.
Victims' justice or victims' need for justice.
abarokotse bakeneye ubutabera.
The need for victims to have justice.
birakenewe ko hari gikorwa kugira ngo abarokotse bahabwe ubutabera.
That need seems to be no one's priority 22 years later.
kandi ubwo bukenerwe cyangwa se ukuntu ibyo bintu ari ngombwa biragaragara ko nta n'umwe bihangayikishije biraje ku ijoro.
Ladies and gentlemen,
abantu muteraniye aha ngaha,
the killing of Abanyamulenge refugees in Gatumba was not a sporadic or random or isolated tragedy.
ubwicanyi bw'Abanyamulenge bari impunzi mu gihugu cy'u Burundi ntabwo ari ikintu cyabaye gusa gutyo kidateguwe.
6 years earlier, as we heard from the testimony,
nk'uko twabyumvise mu buhamya butandukanye, imyaka 6
thousands of Tutsis had been killed across the DRC.
ibihumbi byinshi by'abatutsi by'Abanyamulenge byari byarishwe n'ubundi byari byagiye byicwa hatandukanye muri Congo.
As we heard from our brother who was in Lubumbashi,
ndetse mwumvise umutangabuhamya warokokeye Lubumbashi.
Some of those killed were soldiers serving in the National Army, and they were killed by their own comrades just because of their ethnicity.
bamwe mu bishwe muri ubwo bwicanyi bwabereye ahatandukanye bari ingabo bakorera igihugu ariko bicwa n'abakolege bagenzi babo bakorana mu kurindira umutekano igihugu.
And the killings were manifestly instigated by the DRC government officials.
kandi ubwo bwicanyi byagaragaye ko byari bihagarariwe cyangwa se bihagarikiwe na bamwe mu bayobozi bwite
We also heard from someone from Bibokoboko.
ndetse twumvise ubuhamya bw'umuntu warokokeye mu Bibogobogo.
During that time, 1996,
muri ibyo bihe bya 1996,
in many places in South Kivu,
mu bice bitandukanye byinshi bya Kivu y'Amajyepfo,
people were rounded up and placed in house of worship.
abantu bakoranyirizwaga mu mazu y'amasengero bakicwa.
They were killed,
bakicwa,
wounded,
bagakomeretswa.
Women were raped
abari n'abategarugori bagafatwa ku ngufu
by the government soldiers with militiamen.
Ibyo bigakorwa ku bufatanye bw'abitwa ingabo z'igihugu, ingabo za leta ndetse n'abandi bitwaje intwaro.
Around the same period,
muri ibyo bihe n'ubundi hafi aho,
scores of Tutsis were also killed and forced to flee homes in North Kivu.
abandi batutsi nabo muri Kivu y'Amajyaruguru nabo niko bitwaga kandi nabo bakameneshwa bagahunga bagata ibyabo.
This is not a distant past.
Ibi ntabwo ari ibintu byabaye gusa.
It's not a past behind us.
Ntabwo ari ibintu byagiye gusa byibagiranye.
We are still living that situation now.
Turacyari muri ubwo buzima n'uyu munsi.
For over 9 years to this date,
mu myaka 9 ishize kugeza uyu munsi,
thousands of Abanyamulenge homes in South Kivu have been destroyed.
Ibihumbi n'ibihumbi by'amazu y'abanyekongo b'Abanyamulenge muri Kivu y'Amajyepfo yarasenywe.
Thousands have been killed.
Ibihumbi by'abantu byarishwe.
Property has been looted.
Imitungo myinshi yarasenywe, yarangiritse.
A systematic campaign of ethnic cleansing has been waged by forces from the DRC and Burundi.
Urwango n'amagambo y'urwango n'ubwicanyi ku bufatanye bw'abanyekongo ndetse n'ingabo z'u Burundi.
Yes, the DRC government and the Burundian government.
Ubuyobozi bwa Kongo ndetse n'ubuyobozi bw'u Burundi, ingabo z'ibyo bihugu.
Along with the collection of militias.
Bifatanyije hamwe n'indi mitwe myinshi yitwaje intwaro.
Who have stated clearly the intention to exterminate members of the Tutsi ethnic group.
Bagaragaje ndetse babishyira ku mugaragaro ko bagambiriye ndetse bashyize mu bikorwa kwica abatutsi.
These militias
aba bitwaje intwaro
have been armed and financed by the DRC government.
Aba bitwaje intwaro bigishijwe ndetse bahabwa izo ntwaro n'ubuyobozi bwa Kongo.
Despite the stated intentions and criminal acts of their members.
Hirengagijwe ubwicanyi ndetse n'ibyaha byose by'abanyamuryango.
All this is happening
ibi byose byabaye
in the context of an increasingly virulent hate speech.
Byabaye bikurikiranye cyane n'uruhererekane rw'amagambo y'urwango yagumaga gukwirakwizwa hose.
Including statements by senior government officials
ndetse harimo n'abayobozi mu nzego bwite cyangwa inzego nkuru za leta ubwazo.
Through rhetoric attacks
hakurikijwe ibitero byinshi
that dehumanizes
byambura agaciro cyangwa ubumuntu
or promote discrimination against the Tutsi.
Cyangwa se bigambiriye kubiba urwango mu kwangisha abandi bantu, kwangisha rubanda abatutsi.
For the past couple of years,
myaka mike ishize,
I was involved in work with an organization of lawyers.
Ndumwe mu bagize uruhare cyangwa se ndi mu bagize uruhare mu
We have filed multiple cases in the DRC courts.
Twamaze guhuza cases cyangwa se ibirego byinshi tubishyira mu rukiko
rwa
Kongo.
On behalf of victims.
Kandi tubikora duhagarariye abacitse ku icumu.
Cases including murders, cannibalism, and all sort of persecution targeting this community.
Cases cyangwa se ibirego kenshi byiganjemo kwica ndetse no kurya ibikorwa bya kinyamaswa byakoreye.
We have also filed cases of violent hate speech and incitement of violence.
Ndetse muri ibi birego hari n'ibindi bigaragaza urwango, amagambo y'urwango no gukangurira abantu kwicana no kwangana.
And no case has been investigated yet.
Muri ibyo birego byose twatanze aho twabitanze nta na kimwe gikurikiranwa kugeza uyu munsi.
And instead,
ahubwo
the current government
guverinoma iriho uyu munsi muri
has
Kongo
rewarded perpetrators of those hate speech with cabinet positions.
Bagororeye abo ngabo bagize uruhare muri ubwo bwicanyi, babagororera kubaha imyanya ikomeye mu buyobozi bwa Kongo.
This legitimizes such speech and further dehumanizes the targeted group.
Icyo bisobanura ni uguha agaciro cyangwa se kwemera ku mugaragaro ayo magambo y'urwango mu kubaha imyanya, kubagororera imyanya.
Impunity weakens the rule of law. and erodes citizens' trust in the government.
Kudahana bigaragaza byamaze kuba nk'itegeko cyangwa se bigaragaza kudakora kw'amategeko.
It perpetuates wrongdoing and encourages further conflict.
Ibi birashishikariza urundi rwango cyangwa se ubundi bwicanyi n'ibindi bikorwa bibi bidakurikije amategeko.
Peace in the DRC will require breaking with the culture of impunity.
Amahoro yo muri Kongo rero akeneye ko hacibwa cyangwa umuco wo kudahana ucibwa.
Including impunity for hate crimes.
Harimo ndetse no kudahana ibyaha by'urwango cyangwa se amagambo y'urwango.
Today,
umunsi,
as we remember those who were taken from us in Gatumba,
ubwo turimo turibuka abacu badukuwemo mu Gatumba,
we must also remember that remembrance carries a responsibility.
Tugomba kwibuka ko iyo twibuka cyangwa iyo tuvuga ngo twibuke hari izindi nshingano bigomba kuduha.
As I was coming to this country,
nari ndimo ndaza rero muri iki gihugu,
I realized how far this country is from the DRC.
Nibwo namenye ko hano ari kure cyane uvuye muri Kongo.
Literally speaking,
mbabwije ukuri,
probably the realities of the country in the DRC as well from the realities of this country.
Wenda niko kuri kuva mu gihugu cya Kongo ndetse no muri iki gihugu.
And trying to think further,
ukomeje gutekereza cyane ucukumbuye,
I probably believe that Australian national interest doesn't have a priority in the DRC.
Nibaza kandi nkanatekereza ko inyungu z'igihugu cyangwa se z'ubuyobozi bwa Australia muri Kongo zahawe agaciro cyangwa nta n'iziriyo.
I would bet that maybe half of Australian politicians have never been to Congo.
Ndetse nanahamya ko abarenga kimwe cya kabiri cy'abayobozi ba Australia batigeze bagera no muri Kongo kugeza uyu munsi batahazi.
It is far.
Ni kure.
But it's yet very close.
Ni kure ariko ndabamenyesha ko ari hafi.
It's very close.
Ni hafi cyane.
There are Australian citizens who have families in Congo.
Hari abaturage ba Australia bafite imiryango muri Congo.
I'm not even mentioning those who survived those events in Congo.
Nta nubwo nshaka kuvuga abo ngabo barokotse.
Even more so.
Ahubwo ndetse n'abandi.
We are members of one human family.
Twese hamwe turi abanyamuryango b'ikiremwa muntu muri rusange.
I therefore call upon all of us.
Ndetse ndahamagarira buri wese.
As citizens of the world and members of one family.
Nk'abaturage b'isi bavuka mu muryango
to raise our voices in support of justice for the victims.
Ko twafatana hamwe kuzamura ijwi kugira ngo duharanire ubutabera kugera ku butabera bw'abacitse ku icumu.
Let us stand against hate speech and discrimination in the DRC.
Reka twese duhagurukire hamwe turwanye amagambo y'urwango ndetse n'ivangura bikorerwa muri Kongo.
Let us reject the politics of ethnic exclusion and dehumanization.
Reka twamagane cyangwa dutekure cyane politike ishingiye kwambura agaciro bamwe ndetse n'urwango mu
bantu. And let us work towards a peace in which every community, regardless of their ethnicity, can live in safety, dignity, and equality.
Reka twese duharanire amahoro aho buri muntu wese hatitawe kuhakomoka umuryango n'igihugu n'ubwoko ahubwo bose bashobora kuba hamwe mu bwubahane bwa muntu.
The victims of Gatumba can no longer speak for themselves.
Abacitse ku icumu bo mu Gatumba ntibakibasha kwivugira ubwabo.
It's therefore our responsibility to speak for them.
Izo rero nizo nshingano navuga ko ari izacu kugira ngo tuzamure ijwi tubavugire.
May their memory remain a source of strength for their families and a reminder to all of us that silence in the face of hatred can have devastating consequences.
Reka rero uko tubibuka zihinduke imbaraga z'ibyiringiro ndetse bidufashe no kurwanya urwo rwego.
May the victims of ethnic discrimination in Gatumba and elsewhere
reka aba bacitse ku icumu b'urwo rwango rwo mu Gatumba n'ubwicanyi ndetse n'ahandi hose
look upon us
baturebeho
and rest in peace.
kandi reka tubifurize kuruhukira mu mahoro.
Thank you all.
Murakoze mwese.
Arakoze mushitsi wacu
Thank you to our guest speaker
ku magambo y'ihumure avuye kuvuga
for strength words that he's just spoken upon us
no gufata umwanya wiwe urugendo yafashe mu miseko yavuze
and taking his time and the journey as well
kugira ngo aze kubana natwe
to make it to be with us here.
Rero tugiye gusaba turagana ku musozo.
We're ending to conclusion in a short time. Once I sit down, I'm not going to come back up. We're going to ask Teta to come up front quickly. She has something to read. Once she concludes, the president of BCCA is going to conclude the event for us. While we ask people to go outside and share with us what we've prepared, we're going to go outside in uniform once we hear from the president, and then we will take a bottle of water so that we can drive and fly safe. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tata Nadine, and I'm just going to do a memoir for the 22nd commemoration of the 2004 Gatumba genocide against the Abanyamulenge. The Gatumba Refugee Survivors Foundation solemnly marks the 22nd anniversary of the Gatumba genocide. On the night of the 13th of August 2004, 166 Abanyamulenge refugees were brutally killed and 108 others injured at the UNHCR transit camp in Gatumba, Burundi. The victims, predominantly women and children, had fled targeted violence and persecution in South Kivu in search of protection under international law. Instead, they were massacred in one of the most thoroughly documented genocidal attacks in the region's recent history. A joint investigation by MONUC, ONUB, and OHCHR concluded that the attack was unequivocally directed against members of the Abanyamulenge community and was motivated by ethnic hatred and political calculation. Credible reports, including those by Human Rights Watch, identified the perpetrators as the Palipehutu NFL and the FDLR, elements of the FARDC and Mai Mai militias. Leaders of the Palipehutu FNL openly claimed responsibility, confirming the genocidal intent. Attackers shouted slogans such as "Exterminate all Tutsis" in the region, revealing the continuity of the same ideology that fueled the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. This genocide did not occur in isolation. It followed earlier waves of systematic killings of Tutsi Abanyamulenge civilians between 1996 and 1998 in Kinshasa, Lumumbashi, Jura, Biwogowo, and other locations across the Democratic Republic of the Congo. These campaigns of persecution, hunting, and murder based solely on ethnic identity form part of the long-standing pattern of violence driven by entrenched anti-Tutsi ideology that continues to threaten the survival of Abanyamulenge communities. 22 years later, this genocidal ideology remains deeply rooted in the parts of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the wider region, in the high plateaus of Fizi, Mwenga, and Uvira. Abanyamulenge communities continue to endure systematic violence, killings, the destructions of villages and infrastructure, massive cattle looting, widespread displacement, and largely undocumented sexual violence. These ongoing atrocities demonstrate the persistent and dangerous nature of an ideology that targets Abanyamulenge and the Tutsi identifying communities. The Foundation expresses deep concern over the Burundian government's continued refusal to permit survivors of the Gatumba genocide, together with their families and friends living in the Burundi, to commemorate their relatives. This denial of the right to mourn and remember violates basic human dignity, reinforces marginalization, and obstructs both healing and justice. It is unacceptable that the survivors are denied authorization and protection by the Burundian authorities to visit the memorial sites in Gatumba, the very place where the genocide occurred, where the remains of the victims still lie. Despite strong condemnation by the African Union, the European Union, and the United Nations, no trial has ever been held for the Gatumba genocide. The perpetrators are known, yet impunity persists. Successive governments in Kinshasa and Bujumbura have failed to prioritize accountability despite their moral and political responsibility. Justice delayed is justice denied. The Gatumba Refugee Survivors Foundation therefore issues the following demands. The international community must honor its obligation to deliver justice for the victims of the Gatumba genocide. The United Nations must employ all available mechanisms to bring Agathon Rwasa and Pastor Habimana and their accomplices to justice. The United Nations, the European Union, the African Union, and the regional organization must firmly condemn the Burundian and the Congolese government for enabling genocidal ideologies and must demand protection and rehabilitations for the victims. The government of the Democratic Republic of the Congo must immediately end targeted attacks against the Abanyamulenge and restore security to ensure that displaced persons and refugees can return home safely with dignity. 22 years after the Gatumba, the Abanyamulenge community continues to face existential threats. The Gatumba Refugee Survivors Foundation reaffirms its unwavering commitment to truth, justice, and the protection of all Tutsi communities in the region. And lastly, I would just like to thank the Australian government for giving us a home and a place that we can call home in the midst of all these wars that's going on. But we're also wanting to urge you to continue to support our people that are still back there and to just help us in seeking justice for ourselves and other people that are misplaced in other countries that have lost their families and loved ones in the war. Thank you.
arakoze teta
Thank you, Teta.
bari bamusinje ntibari bamubonye ariko yari kuza mbere
They had skipped her. She was meant to go first.
kandi murabona ko ari umwana mutoya kumusiga tutamubwiye
She's a young girl, and leaving her without letting her know,
byari kugorana
it was going to be a difficult
ariko
thing.
ntiyaragwire kubwomba inyuma y'umusiga ariko kubera kuko ari umwana twabimuhaye
We've given her time.
reka duhaguruke twese
Let's all stand up.
turabashimiye mwese mwituze
We
mwagize
thank all of you for the calm and peace that you've had.
mwakoze
Thank you. You've done well.
government official thank you for coming dusabe pasiteri Philemon
Would like to ask Pastor
atambuke hano imbere
to step up
aje kudusengera
and pray for us
dusoza
as we conclude,
dushimira buri wese
thanking everyone as well.
teme yacu mwayibonye
You've seen our theme.
iravuga ngo
It says,
remember, seek justice and condemn genocide ideology in Congo. Nicyo dusoreje.
that's what we conclude with.
Mana yera, Mana yo kwizerwa. Aba bose bateraniye ahangaha imbere yawe bahagaze ku munsi ukomeye, umunsi w'umubabaro, umunsi w'agahinda, umunsi wo kwibuka ibitubaho. Abatutsi n'ubwoko waremye kandi ntiwaburemye wibeshe. Wabaremanye umugambi wawe kuko waremye ubundi bwoko bukwiriye kubaho. Ariko mwami Imana turenganye igihe kirekire. Turasaba ko washiraho iherezo. Wadutabara ni wewe, abavugizi hirya no hino baravuga ati byumvikana, ahubwo abagira nabi baragororerwa, ariko wowe uri Imana iziba mu ruhande rw'abarengana. Na n'ubu tuvuga intambara z'urudaca zirakomeje, zikameje muri Nord Kivu na Sud Kivu. Inkuru zumvikana mu matwi ni agahinda n'umubabaro, ariko turakwinginze guhagarika izi ntambara, natwe tuba ubwoko bunezerwa nk'abandi. Mwami Imana, tugushimiye ku bw'aba bose baje kwibuka izi nzirakarengane. Turabibuka tukagira umubabaro n'agahinda, ariko ndashima wowe yuko uri Imana iri kumwe nabo. Ndagushimira yuko dusoje, benshi bagiye kugenda basubira mu ngo zabo, bagenda mu modoka, bagenda mu ndege, barindwe nawe, bagere mu ngo zabo amahoro. Ngaho bana natwe mu izina ryawe Kristo Mwami wacu, amen.
Thank you so much.
Murakoze cyane.